All right, everybody. Welcome to the Dumbass Film Students Podcast. It's a pleasure to be here. I am Lonnie Cox. Always with us is D.A. Henry. I got Rudy Wilson, Kiwi, the three gentlemen from L.A. And now it is my pleasure to introduce my very special guest, one of my best friends, Jay McCoord. Big round of applause for him. Jay McCoord.
Clap for myself.
Local comedian in Miami, out here with me. We've actually known each other for a long time. We went to middle school and high school together, and just coincidentally are now doing comedy together also. So Jay, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us like where you're from, and then also tell us about like, your passion with movies, if you want to pursue any kind of career in movies, or if you're just a fan.
Well, yeah, that was a very bad question. But talk about
what's your middle name, what's your social, what's your favorite movie, name 5 cereals.
That is open-ended if nothing else is. This thing, goddamn. Yeah, as he said, I'm Jay McCoord, local Miami comic. Been doing comedy for going on 2 years. Oh, wait, no. September.
2 years now, right? In September.
On the 18th will be my 2-year mark. So yeah, September 18th I'll be doing it 2 years.
Hey, not to cut you off, bro. Not to cut you off, but just out of curiosity for you personally, because this is how I feel. It seems like everything else in my life moves faster except for my comedy career. Like no matter how fast kids get older, or I feel like time passing by, my number in comedy years never seem to go that far. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Is it just me, or do you feel the same way? Because like
I mean, kinda. I mean, no. I'm feeling it more this year than the first year. The first year seemed to go by pretty fast. Like I stopped and was like, oh shit, I've been doing this shit for a year. And so yeah, the second year, I think because we had to slow down and everything, I think this is where I feel like I was at a standstill, especially because I didn't know if I was able to say we've been doing this shit or I've been doing this shit for 2 years, because technically, you know what I'm saying, that big ass gap, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that this second year took it had to chug along. It took some chugging along. Absolutely. But yeah, comedy is definitely my number one passion. As far as I didn't know that until I started it, but it definitely is my number one passion. As far as movies and acting and everything, of course, I would love to be a part of every aspect of it. I was working on Sensitive Senses. That's Rudy's project, written, directed, produced, and all that good shit by Rudy.
Edited, sound design, color, stressed over, all that.
By Rudy Wilson himself. And yeah, I just had a blast on set. I was nothing but a non-speaking extra, but just being on set. Rudy, you'll see.
No. You had a little part. Remember in the opening credits, I had your
significant extra, but I didn't.
Right, but I'm saying, but you didn't have a line. No. But you didn't have a line. Hold on, but listen, you didn't have a line, but you had a speaking part. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? What you said was not written, but you spoke, and I kept it. You know what I'm saying? You the man, bro. You had your individual shots with your camera stuff, bro. You did your thing.
This is true. You can definitely not see the movie and not recognize me. Absolutely. I can say that. And with that being said, when those royalty checks start coming, I will be expecting mine. So,
nigga, that shit got 1,000 and that shit got like 1,100 views on YouTube. Nigga, that's it. That ain't that. YouTube don't even know.
That's a
YouTube
start.
don't even know that. YouTube don't even know that video up right now.
1,100 views from April 1st. That's not bad, man. That's not bad.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so shit, I got something I posted up in high school. I'm pretty sure that shit got like 700 views somewhere. So, but yeah, so I worked on that, and Rudy will tell you, like, I was asking him questions as far as like how the background shit goes, because every aspect of of just making the film and all that. It was very interesting to me, especially like I was always the kid to look at like the DVD extras, the behind the scenes shit. Always loved watching shit like that. But actually being on a set, whether it was a short film or not, like it still like blew my mind, and I wanted to get as much information as I can. So that was dope. So I would definitely like to do that more in the future.
What are some of your favorite movies, Jay?
Say again?
Some of your favorite movies.
Damn.
Right.
That was an aggressive ass question.
Well, get your fucking ears screwed on right.
Some of my favorites. Actually, one of them was the one that I picked today, Inception. Well, I saw that and just kind of fell in love with it. Earlier movies, definitely things like House Party. Friday is, of course, a classic. Meteor Man, I mentioned one time before. The Mask.
Oh yeah, fire.
Shit. Fuck.
I have to.
There's just a lot.
Have you guys seen House Party 4 with
I did. It was trash.
It was terrible. Right? Why did they even need to do that?
Because they just felt like they needed to cut that check.
But
that's all
listen,
it was.
Did you know that
most of the time, if a movie makes it to number 4, I can guarantee that 4th one probably trash. Outside of like, because actually, I take that back. Well, I was getting ready to correct myself, but I take back my correction because Fast and Furious, like, they eventually got good again, but their number 4 and 3 and stuff was trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, when Fast 5 is when it picked back up. You feel what I'm saying? Because Fast 5 was tough, but like usually when you make it to 4, it ain't, you're doing too much. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
facts.
You're doing too much.
Facts.
Most people don't make it to 3.
I wish people would tell that to the people who making Sharknado. Ain't they up to like 8 now?
I've never seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
I've never seen it either, but I know that shit is trash. I guarantee. Once I saw 6, I was like, oh, this is trash.
I mean, to be fair, wasn't 1 trash? Like,
I'm sure it was.
It's called it's called Sharknado. Let's be.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is exactly what it sounds like. There are sharks in a tornado.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. And I've never watched the movie, but I guarantee
there's a movie out there called what is it called? Like Tire or Wheel or something like that, where there's like a haunted tire that goes around and kills people. Not somebody pushing it, literally just
the sentient tire.
Yeah, an untouched tire just rolling around and killing people. It's a horror movie.
I think I saw some shit like that. I didn't watch the movie, but I think I heard of that shit. Yeah, people make anything if they got the money for it. Shit, that's the beauty of budgets.
Yeah, you can make anything as long as you got the money. That's the only thing holding you up. If you got the money, listen to me. People, actors, producers, whatever, like, if it's a check involved and it's a good enough check, they be like, man, come on, bring this little bullshit on real quick. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna watch this to know that I was a part of this anyway. You feel what I'm saying? Like, bring this bullshit on. Let me get this check because I'm hurting.
I also feel like a lot of movies get made like thinking that they're that, and they turn out to be classics. Like Ghostbusters, for example. Like they couldn't have thought that movie was going to be good.
I think
that was Bill Murray, so he was kind of hot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think they rely more on the cast than the actual story.
But I remember like reading that Bill Murray himself thought that Ghostbusters was going to be he only did that movie because he was under contract and he wanted to make another movie that you guys have never even heard of. So like he did Ghostbusters to like fulfill some contract so he could make his one of his movies that he was passionate about. And Ghostbusters is the one that took off.
But that's what I was gonna say. I think what probably happened, to your point, Lonnie, is probably something to the degree of like whoever wrote it or directed it was like, yo, this is gonna work, while everybody else was like, man, this is stupid. They got it made, and then it turned out to be what it was, type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it probably was something where the only person who believed in it was the nigga who wrote it. He was like, no, this is genius. You know what I'm saying? Because I said on the last podcast last week, I always tell people, think about the pitch meeting for Ninja Turtles, bro. Like, think about somebody, the first time if somebody just brought to you the idea of Ninja Turtles, you would kick them the fuck out of your office. But if in hindsight, if you watch it now, it's genius. It's brilliant. It has a legacy, so on and so forth. So.
It's like Fortnite. If any of y'all play Fortnite, Fortnite was a free game, still is free because it wasn't supposed to be shit. But then it blew, and now look at it.
So, it still ain't shit, but
it ain't. Play it, I don't condone it, but I'm just using that example, you know.
This nigga got a PlayStation shirt on. You know this nigga playing Fortnite. This nigga. This nigga is a gamer.
No, I played it for a while, but it's just like a regular shooter. So I understand why it's successful, just because of like what you're doing. You're getting in that, you have that community, and then you know, it's like what is really so cool about it. I played it for the 2 weeks, and I felt like I'd done everything that it had to offer. And I feel like that's why they change it every month or two or whatever it is. They got a different season and shit, just to spice it up. But the gameplay doesn't change. It's like whatever.
I don't play the shit. I ain't played it once.
That's why that shit's still free. That's all you need to know. They dropped Rocket League and they sold that bitch. Rocket League started off too.
Oh, did anybody notice
this is not a gaming podcast? It doesn't.
Did anybody notice this nigga had a kiwi in his name box? I just seen that. Oh my God! Too bad I'm not gonna show the video, but man, if you got a way to insert that DA, that would be genius. That would be genius. So, does anybody have any other questions for Jay? Before we move on, I had one last question, but I want to open the floor to somebody else before.
Jay, who are you voting for? I'm kidding. And why? Explain your reason.
And why? So Jay, the question
for Bernie.
I'm voting for Bernie, right? The question I was going to ask you. This kind of went back to when you were just naming like your favorite movies. I was going to ask, like, did you grow up more on black films? And when I say black films, it doesn't necessarily have to be like hood classics, but even like films with black leads, like your Rush Hours or like movies Will Smith may have been in, or Denzel, where even if it wasn't necessarily an all black cast following them, you still watched it because this is a black hero, if you will, in a movie type shit. So like, were you not that it was forced, but was your movie watching just in growing up more of that style, or were you more just say Star Wars, Hobbit? And I'm not saying it has to be that genre. I'm just trying to let's name a white movie. I don't know.
I feel Hobbit are two different decades.
I've never seen either. I was trying to name white movies. I don't know white movies. Okay, names. I don't know. The Notebook. I don't know. Whatever. Just whatever.
I feel like
Did you watch white movies or black movies? That's what I want to know.
Oh my God. This nigga.
You obviously know my answer.
DA just got offended, even to the point where I don't even know which one he felt was the insult. Are you more of a Star Wars or a Hobbit fan? Both of them got some serious fan bases. Oh shit! Yeah, they don't go together, but I understood exactly what he meant when he said that shit.
I understood it. I'm just saying the question. You need to come with better references. That's what.
Why? I don't care about those movies. I just want him to get my point.
Your question is not in the right time frame, sir.
Right. Yeah, I mean, whoever. But yeah.
But no, to answer, honestly, I never was exposed to anything, at least to my knowledge, I never was exposed to anything because it was black people or whatever. I remember just having a bunch of VHSs that belonged to either my mama or my grandma, and really I just had the choice to watch whatever I wanted. And it was a couple things I forgot was Lion King was always a favorite of mine, and
Lion King is the GOAT, nigga.
As well as Aladdin and Mrs. Doubtfire. Mrs. Doubtfire and The Mask were probably the two most played white movies in my house because of me. Like I watch those shits all the time. Jim Carrey, Robin Williams to this day.
Yeah.
A little less Robin Williams now, but still to this day, heroes of mine.
I think it's safe to say that Robin Williams and Jim Carrey was definitely in every black household, even just because of even movies like The Mrs. Doubtfire, The Aladdins, Mask, You know, even the Liar, Liar. I mean, you know, my favorite performance. I would say my favorite performance of all time with Jim Carrey.
Black people. He started off on Living Color.
Facts.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's true. But that's true. But that's even more old school than me. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't even like old enough to just sit up and watch live versions of The Living Color.
Yeah.
But even because I learned about Jim Carrey on The Living Color after the movies. You know what I'm saying?
The Mask and Ace Ventura and all
right.
that.
So I'm saying like he was a part of it even just with the character that he played because those characters. I mean, I didn't say resonated with niggas, but like the mask. The mask is a very interesting concept. Like he puts on this mask and almost turns into like he turns into like almost like a cartoon humanized superhero, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like he gets the bad chick, with, you know, introducing Cameron Diaz, excuse me, and you know her first movie, whatever. Like I mean, the magic is dope, bro. And Jim Carrey
and Robin Williams, they have that kind of comedy that it transcends their race. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was.
It doesn't matter what color
say.
they are.
Even though both of them can be very vanilla.
White. You can just say white. It's okay. They are.
Right.
They're very white. They're white.
Yeah,
They
can be very. No, I didn't even want to say white. It's just like that kind of, just that type of comedy. You know how Jim Carrey, he's animated with the faces, and he might just like
physical.
like
They're
throw
physical.
himself back and all that kind of shit.
Right.
Not typically things that black people really respond to, but because I don't know if it's, I can't say because it's them, but just the way that they do it. Like they can, it doesn't matter. Niggas will see a Jim Carrey or Robin Williams movie because it's them. It doesn't even matter.
So I gotta.
Hold on, I'm sorry, real quick, DA. But to your point, real quick, Jay. What I was gonna say is, if we seen niggas doing what they were doing, then we'd be like, man, this nigga's a clown. Like, get the fuck off the screen. But
exactly.
we can accept that style of comedy from a white person because. Not that we look at them as less when we see it, but it's like, oh, okay, well that's some white shit, but it's funny. But if a nigga did that white shit, it'd be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like I could not think of one black actor who would have played the Grinch or who would have played the Mask. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't think of that. Like and get that same performance as Jim Carrey, and he sold it to make you know, really thrown to that. I'm done.
I just want to say I don't see anybody of any
yeah, for sure. I mean,
playing the Mask.
I mean, nobody can do really any of Jim Carrey's movies. Like, don't make the movie if it's not Jim Carrey. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
If it's not, that's real shit. Like, who else would be in Dumb and Dumber or Ace Ventura? Sure. Don't make that movie. I don't want to see
Ace Ventura? Oh, my God. Ace Ventura is amazing, bro. Cable Guy? Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Nobody talks about Cable Guy. Why does nobody talk about Cable Guy?
Cable Guy is
it's intense as fuck.
Bro.
It's hilarious, though.
I'm not going to lie. As a kid, it kind of creeped me out. But I still fucking love it. Anytime that movie came on, I was watching it. I did not give a fuck, and it creeped me out every fucking time. Like some parts I didn't get the concept of until I got grown. So that's when it just came off kind of creepy. But I still love that fucking movie. It was a dope ass movie. And I don't understand how people like don't talk about it that much as far as when they talk about Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
That shit was definitely one of his. Well, I ain't gonna say one of his better performances, but it was definitely a great one.
I mean, that's what I'm about to say. It's a classic movie, but but if you compare him to like his other work, it's going to be scooted down. You know what I'm saying? Like if you think about some of his other movies,
of course,
you know what I'm saying. So it's not gonna get the same respect. Yeah, you had a question. I'm sorry.
I would have to ask Jay. So you've never seen any like. When you were growing up, you never seen like Quentin Tarantino films like Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, even the black one, Jackie Brown?
I ain't seen none of those, so I got the film school.
Jackie Brown was the only one that I saw. Jackie Brown was the only one I saw as a kid. My mom never had any Quentin Tarantino movies. I definitely became a fan of him on my own accord once I got older. I love Jackie Brown. I grew up. That's another movie that I grew up watching that I love. But I didn't. at the time I wasn't thinking about directors and shit, so I knew nothing about Tarantino. I just knew that was a dope ass movie. Okay. I just knew it was dope. It had fucking Samuel Jackson. It was dope.
What about Spielberg films? Did you at least watch those? But you got.
I'm sure.
Indiana.
I did it in the sense of like Jurassic Park and Jaws. I seen that when I was a kid, but like I don't know if I was like deep off in the Spielberg catalog, but I seen like some of those major ones that kids would see. You know.
You see how even right now, you just said Spielberg, and the only thing that came to my head was E.T. And I was
right. Even E.T. Right.
And listen, but once again, these are movies I was not paying attention to the background stuff. Like I got into that shit as a teenager. As far as Spielberg films, I can't say that I've seen a lot of them. I don't even remember E.T.
You've seen
but
a lot
as far
of Spielberg movies, you just probably don't realize.
I honestly haven't. I haven't seen any of the Indiana Joneses.
What?
I haven't seen that Indiana Jones either.
Jesus Christ.
I've never seen one Indiana Jones. What else did you mention, D.A.?
Saving Private Ryan. Did you ever see that?
I seen that, but I seen it as an adult. I seen it as an adult.
They definitely seen Color Purple.
I seen that as an adult. I seen Color Purple a year ago.
I didn't see Color Purple. No,
I
grew up
know
with Color
Steven
Purple.
Spielberg.
That's Steven Spielberg. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I forgot that was Spielberg, but I definitely seen that.
E.T., Close Encounters.
I seen E.T. I didn't see Close Encounters. I seen Jaws.
I forgot. Yeah, Jaws. I forgot that was him too. But yeah, Jaws. I saw that a few times as a kid. But yeah, as far as I can call myself a Tarantino fan. I can call myself a Scorsese fan. I can't honestly call myself a Spielberg fan, as you can see. Like I can't even name his fucking movies. But I'm sure. For a fact, he does have movies that I like. But as far as his
Catch Me If You Can, I think that's Steven Spielberg. That's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, I fucking love that movie. That's not
so
Spielberg.
Good.
I didn't see it.
Pretty sure it is.
I love that movie. Yeah, I love that movie.
I will say this before we move on. In reference to all these directors that you've named, Steven Spielberg was like the only name I've ever known. Like growing up, I had never heard of like Tarantino, Scorsese until I got older. But I always known Steven Spielberg's name. Always.
He really like also dominated the 90s. Like when we were like coming alive into film, he was the director of the time.
Right.
You know?
Right. But I'm saying, and especially because I don't to my recall, I don't think Scorsese and Tarantino was making movies for kids. Like Jurassic Park was like was kids and adults. Like both people could go see that. You know what I'm saying? E.T.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that, I think it just kind of played more to us. And I don't even know if I knew he made those movies back then, but I always known his name when it came down to like whoever the big directors were in Hollywood.
Right, in relation to the movie, absolutely.
I've always known his name. So, all right, cool.
I think it should be enough that we knew who he was.
Right. You feel me? Give us credit.
It's not going to cut it in heaven. Oh, I knew who Jesus was.
I'm sure it's gonna cut it in. If that's what this is based off of this whole time, man, I'm about to start fucking bitches. I'm about to start robbing banks. If it was all about respecting Steve Spielberg, okay, I can go back and change that. All right, cool. All right, let's move right along, man. Well, Jay, welcome. Glad to have you. Glad we know more about you that we pretty much already knew. So. Let's get into these three movies. I want to start by saying, number one, I want to say on camera that Set It Off is one of our movies, and I want to ask for forgiveness for all the women, especially black women out there who, as you can see, you're not represented on such a represented movie. We should have had somebody on here. I contacted the person too late. DA put his wife in the background to try to represent for black women.
Jay has long hair, so that kind of counts.
Well, I guess so do I. So yeah, me and Jay will be the strong black women in representation. But I do have women who are going to come on, and we're going to discuss Set It Off again on just a separate occasion, along with other movies, just to get the woman's perspective. So as of today, you'll get 4 niggas and a white guy, and then we'll switch it up and do it the appropriate way at a later date. So and then secondly. I also want to say congratulations to all the filmmakers of these films. You got the film done. You got the budget. You got it shot. You got to put on the big screen, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. Our little opinions don't matter. This is just us talking shit. So if you hear anything that you don't like, sorry. All right. So let's start with our guest, his favorite movie, the movie that he chose, entitled Inception. Director is Christopher Nolan, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and a host of others. Let's just do it a little bit differently today, just so it can be a little quicker. So I'm going to just simply ask, are you on the side of liking or disliking it? And I just want you to simply just give me either, when I give like a 1, 2, 3, just give me either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, okay? And then we'll go from there, all right? So on the count of 3, give me your thumbs up or thumbs down if you're on the side of liking it or disliking it. And Jay, just so that you understand, you can like the movie but have things that you don't like about it, or you can dislike it and have things that you like about it. So but I still just want to know what your ultimate choice is as of right now, and then we'll get into the particulars. All right, here we go. On the count of 3, everybody give their vote. 1, 2, 3.
Rudy, you would be you see, this because you were raised on black movies, Rudy.
I feel like Fruit Basket is changing his answer on some bullshit.
Who is Fruit Basket? Who is Fruit Basket?
Kiwi over there.
Fruit Basket. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's just a name. That's just a nickname.
I didn't even get the reference at first.
That's my dance name. Relax, nigga. Don't take it too far. That's
my dance name. So wait, Darryl, what did you pick? You did like this. That's the thumbs up? You picking thumbs up?
Yeah.
All right, and Kiwi, so you had thumbs down.
Yeah.
Well, we can go ahead and start. I mean, well, actually, no. Go ahead. What you say?
I said Kiwi started with a thumbs up. What happened?
I started with a thumbs up.
That's what I'm saying.
Just so I can change it to a thumbs down.
He started with a thumbs up, but once I said 1, 2, 3, he went to down. He did down after. All right, so but this is what I want y'all to do. I want y'all who like it to go first, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I feel like if y'all explain to me why y'all liked it, it may help persuade me the other way. But as of right now, to what I saw, what I understand, I'm on my side. So I want y'all to go first, please. Everybody, go for it.
I feel like you should explain your side so we can counter.
No. Go for it. I'm not trying to counter. I just want to hear. I need some explanation to this movie because I didn't get it.
All right. I personally.
Sorry, I know I'm kind of close, but I got it, but I didn't get it. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I personally like this story because it was very intriguing. The whole concept of it, going a dream within a dream, and then the whole time they're trying to rob this guy. So I think that whole concept right there of trying to implant this so this person can do this, and then in reality, but it's all in a dream. It's really cool. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, that's what
my favorite part about this movie is it is 100% entirely original. You've never seen anything like this movie before.
Facts.
You'll never see anything like it again.
Sure.
It's Christopher Nolan, right? So Christopher Nolan has a very distinct style, but he doesn't like overplay his hand really. He's very like, there are some scenes in this movie that are kind of like quote.
Let me ask you a question. Hold on, bro. I'm gonna let you finish, but I just want to ask you a question to what you just said. Do you don't think this movie has any similarities to Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
I mean, I guess you could say there are some similarities, but it's taken in a totally different direction. It's similar in the sense that we're dealing with I wouldn't say it's similar. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is dealing with memories, and here you're dealing with dreams where you're like taking things that don't exist in reality. There is some mixing of like the memories and what that means for the person's life. And I would say maybe the message of the movie might be similar to Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, that like what lives in your mind can really dictate your reality and what happens and stuff like that. But I think the tone of this movie, the direction of it, the style is totally and completely unique. You'll never see, a movie like this. Christopher Nolan is very famous for not using computer generated effects. There are very, very few of them in this movie. So most of the things you're seeing in this movie are happening for real. Like that fight in the hotel where it's turning, the water coming in through, the things exploding, all that stuff is happening for real. It's like there's a lot of shooting, but it's not overly violent. The movie's action is not the focal point of the film. It's like you're moving through the plot and action happens, which is always a special thing in a movie, instead of just like we're waiting for one fight scene and you're just waiting for the next one. Because it's kind of like a porno. You're like, let's go, let's move, let's get to the action. I don't care what the story is. This is the exact opposite. This is like, wow, there's a story going on with really dope action. I love how it's kind of like an allegory or a symbol for virtual reality and video games. How these guys can get lost in this whole world that doesn't really exist, and that becomes their reality.
Right.
I give this movie, I'm starting a new thing. I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. I'm starting a new thing. Yeah. That is so right. That is so right. Don't tell nobody else. We can't even participate. Like, I started something new with the thumbs up, but that's something everybody can do. Linus is like, no, I got my own cards. I'm not going to tell
you guys need to be prepared. That's on you.
I'm not be prepared for something we didn't know about.
That's right. You gotta be nimble and quick. Improvise.
I think
Jay, I'm gonna let you go because I'm not convinced as of anything anybody has said as of yet. I'm just letting you know that right
now. Honestly, just to piggyback off of what Lonnie said, one is definitely original, and as far as its similarities to Eternal Mind, I just feel like the only similarities is that it's something in the realm outside of reality, because obviously something like what happens in Eternal Sunshine, that's just impossible. What I do like about this movie is, like, this isn't necessarily like, well, I guess the technology is impossible, but this is, you got to remember, like, the entire movie or most of the movie is just taking place in a dream. So everything that's happening is like in the realm of possibility because it's a dream, I guess, if that makes any sense. But even outside of that, like, I just liked how the story progressed. I like the fact that you understand what pretty much everybody's goal is, or maybe not everybody, but at least the main character's goal. You know exactly what Leo's character is going for. His whole thing is to get back home to his kids. What is he doing to do that? He's willing to go to dangerous fucking depths when he says he's breaking his own fucking rules, saying you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this. Yet along the path, he's doing everything that he shouldn't be doing with the ultimate goal of saving his love, holding on to love that he lost, as well as trying to get back his family. The Asian dude, Sato, what he's there for, even though character really didn't have to be inside the other dreams, he had a vested stake in the whole thing going the way that it did. And if he wasn't there, the shit would have fell apart in the end, if you really pay attention to how the part that he played in it. So everybody definitely had their parts. Nobody was really a wasted character. Nobody, even if at the beginning you might ask, why is this person here? Everybody served their purpose. I don't think there was any over or under usage of anybody, of anything, or anybody. It was definitely well balanced. Fucking what's his name? Gordon Levitt.
Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I can't. I always forget his name. But yeah, him, awesome job. Leo always does an awesome job. I don't know. It was just, I don't know. Maybe because as a kid, I was always like just intrigued with the whole dream world. You ever had a dream and then realize you were dreaming, so you just try to see what you can do?
I mean,
like
just
this movie,
Jay, to piggyback off what you say, not to cut you off, but like this movie, when I saw it for the first time, it literally changed the way I dream. Like for my entire life moving forward, my dreams have changed. Like my perception of what a dream is changed because of this movie. Like this movie really changed the way my brain works in a certain way. And one last thing I wanted to say that I forgot is that I love a movie that A, doesn't hold your hand, and B, has an ambiguous ending that makes you kind of like figure it out. Like, what do you think happens here at the end?
Right, exactly.
I know y'all gonna think I'm joking when I say this.
I don't know if you notice.
Go ahead. This thing got a major delay.
I was talking about I was talking about Lonnie. I don't know if you noticed, but you know how at the end, it's happening now.
No, you good. Go ahead. You are, but you fine. Go ahead. We can hear you though.
Because I see y'all nigga, you put your head down in slow motion and shit. But I forgot. But nah, at the end and shit, you know how, like you were saying, it's ambiguous. It's kind of for you to decide. I realized watching this time, there was a spot where you could question, is this whole thing a dream? Because when he first got back to the real world, he was about to use his totem, what they called it, and he dropped it. So he didn't even get a chance to. So there can be an argument that the entire thing was a dream.
They're also wearing the exact same clothes of that they're wearing in his memory.
Facts, exactly. So,
this is what I'm saying. All that stuff y'all saying is fine and dandy, whatever. Listen to me. The movie was shot beautifully. I didn't think anything about it was ugly. I think the locations and the outfits and the snow and the, niggas just shooting niggas with silencers and catching them before they fall. All that's great. Fine and dandy. Whatever. But the meat and potatoes of this movie was all about this whole dream sequence. And the reason why I said it reminded me of Eternal Sunshine is because even within, so you got people orchestrating over this, this body that's basically in a coma, if you will, because they're in another realm or whatever like that. And the main character, Jim Carrey being in one, Leonardo being in this one, they're doing all of these things trying to save their love, the love of their life. You know what I'm saying? Like they both have that same journey. So that's what made me think about it. Even when I seen like the build, remember it happened in other parts, but the main part I remember they were on like a beach or whatever, and like the buildings were like falling apart like into the water or whatever. Like when I was seeing that part, that made me think about a comment Lonnie made about Eternal Sunshine when the house and shit was falling apart, and how you were saying that it looked good even for the time that they made it. So I remember thinking to myself, like, it literally put me in the same mind frame as this. Now, granted, I like Eternal Sunshine. I'm not saying that I don't like that movie. But when it came down to this one, like, I understood what I was watching. I understood the dream. I understood the kick. I understood the 5 seconds, meaning the minute here and blah. I understood all of that. I got it. I just never understood why this was a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never understood, like why all of this together in this particular format was the movie that they based this off of. Because, if they would have went back into, like, dreams or something, and we would have seen, like, and just for an example, if we would have seen, like, a bank robbery in the dream or something, like, to me, that would have made going into the dreams more exciting. But to me, the dreams just kept being about, like, this smart-ass girl who know how to draw mazes, trying to life coach this.
Point.
She's trying to life coach this nigga out of getting back with his dead wife. Then you got the wait. Just wait a minute. Don't do it. Just wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Listen to me. I'm telling you what I saw, okay? Because if you want to be honest with you, I had a dream. I had a dream during this fucking movie, okay? Because I fell asleep. If you want me to be honest, all right? I had a dream within a dream, okay? I woke up and that shit was off, and I was like, damn, now I got to rewind this shit and finish the last hour. All right, so Listen, and I'm a Leonardo fan. I'm a fan of I mean, everybody I seen him. Like I didn't have a problem with anybody's performances. It wasn't that I saw this and was like, it had nothing to do with the look or the performances of the actors. But I felt like the story that was presented, I felt like there was a better way to execute it. Wait a minute, DA, wait. I think the concept was dope in reference to the going back into the dreams. But to me, like, I was never excited about what was happening in the dreams. Like, it was just like what, yo, you can kill this person. Is that really real? No, that's just their perception or whatever. Like, but even with Titanic, you know what made Titanic so exciting? It had its love story or whatever, but it was when that motherfucking boat was going down and they was in water up to here trying to get out the gate, people hanging off of here. Like, all of that is what made Titanic the movie. We love the love story, and at the end, you do the love, he falls, he drowns at the end. She drops the jewel, drop the jewel in the water. Like, but it's the like, you can't sell me with this action and Leo's this sharpshooter and everybody, and the guy from Mad Max is this sharpshooter. Everybody's such a badass, but none of their badass mattered to me in this movie. Like, they were just doing. They was beating everybody else. It didn't matter. It didn't matter how many people they faced. They was always going in, Only person that ever got shot was the Chinese nigga who grew old by himself and lonely and all that bullshit that he quoted. And what I'm saying is, I understood what happened in the movie. I just don't understand why they executed it the way that they did. I just don't.
You just didn't watch the movie.
I did. I actually watched it twice because I understood the first time.
I mean, I would disagree with that, Rudy. I mean, I think towards the end, that scene where they're all trying to, like, get towards the kick, where Joseph Gordon-Levitt is, like, floating and the van is, like, falling for, like, 45 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. I don't disagree with that line. I'm saying, like, even with the fight scenes when they were floating and fighting, I think all of that, it's not about what I saw. I'm saying the story itself and what they chose to use this concept for, I think it could have been more exciting. Because to me, this was way more of an action movie than it was a love drama.
Well,
you feel what I'm saying?
My theory about that is I think that Christopher Nolan loves action movies. I actually just saw Tenet yesterday, his latest film. And I think if Christopher Nolan is going to make an action film, he's got to put something. He's not just going to make a, like, straightforward shoot 'em up bank robber movie. If he
I'm not
did,
asking for that though.
It would be the best of those movies ever.
But
you know what I'm saying?
I'm not even asking for that. I'm just saying the moments that they were going back in the dream, because like to your point, when we're anticipating the slow motion of the van doing the kick into the water, and we're watching the layers, and then another dude, he's on this layer with this certain time, and they're on this layer with this certain time. All of that would be more exciting to me if whatever they were doing was just more exciting. Like, I was way more interested in the nigga with the long name who you just said, Joseph Liveth, whatever. I apologize for messing up his name, but that guy who was in the time zone, the guy who was in the time zone by himself doing the fighting and floating, his scenes were more interesting to me than everything else that was happening with everybody else, because I was seeing niggas floating and fighting. All I'm saying is the moments that were provided for the action, I think what they were going after and how they were going about it should have been more impactful in this brilliant concept of going back in dreams. So, because even they were, I think that was a good raising of the stakes with the whole, we went so deep that we could be in limbo and all that. Like, I thought all of that was good, but I just don't think the execution of what they had and what they used it for, I just didn't like it, bro. I just didn't.
Well, at the same time, I think you might be overlooking exactly what the purpose of the people who were shooting at them was for. It wasn't just like this militia of people, this random militia of people. It was, how they explained it was, the dude had been trained mentally trained to fight off anybody who would be trying to attack his mental, basically. So it wasn't going to be like this whole, it's us against the world type situation. It's just some aggressive, basically brain cells type shit. Like, it's hard to explain. It's definitely hard to explain, but it's.
Jay sounds like he's reporting on the ground in Iraq.
Jesus Christ.
My wife, I thought it was just me. I'm like, yo, this nigga sound like he just fell into some water or something. Like this man.
Jay, we wish you the best out there, and thank you for your reporting. And be sure to stay safe out there, buddy.
Kiwi, I want to know why you don't like it. I'm done listening to Rudy.
He said Jay was a news reporter out there.
Fuck you niggas.
I didn't like it because kind of piggyback off a little bit of Rudy said.
Oh my God, nope, never mind. Stop.
I got my own twist. It was to me, it was just too much going on at one time. It was kind of like, okay, this just happened, so kind of, focus on that or elaborate on that before you just hit to the next thing.
Well, that is definitely, a criticism of Christopher Nolan, that his plots get convoluted and, like, they're a little confusing. As a matter of fact, like, Tenet, the movie that I saw yesterday, is literally confusing to the point where it hurts my brain. Like, there were parts of the movie where I'm trying to, like, watch it and understand. And it's funny because you can tell that he learned from Inception. At 20 minutes into the movie of Tenet, they literally say, the characters in the movie literally are trying to explain the, like, physics of it, and they go, don't try and understand it, just go with it. Like, they say that to each other, but it's them saying it to you.
To the audience,
when I came back into watching this movie, Inception, I kind of came with that of just, like, just enjoy it. Like, just watch it. Because if you're trying to, like, wrap your mind around what everything is implicated by and, like, this stuff, you can't enjoy the movie because you're too caught up in what.
But I came in, bro. Every movie that we choose for this podcast, if it's not a movie I've already seen, I don't read log lines or nothing. I just come in and watch it. I don't have no preconceived notion. And I'm telling you, I wasn't trying to keep up or try to dig too deep and try to understand, well, why did this happen? Why did this? It wasn't like the technicalities. I just don't think they took what they had and used it correctly, in my humble opinion. I just don't. Kiwi, you were talking. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, so pretty much Lonnie kind of hit it. It was just saying, like, I couldn't just sit back and enjoy it. Because when I watch a movie, I'm examining it while I'm watching it.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't just enjoy it as a movie fan. Because I'm trying to.
Which is one thing when the movie is, like, if it's, like, convoluted and it's, like, a simple movie that you're just trying to, like if it's, like, a lawyer film and you're, like, trying to, like, figure something out. But here you've got explosions and the city is, like, folding in on itself. So that's visually, you're trying to make sense of what's going on and you're trying to make sense of the story as well.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
These niggas bad at taking notes. They didn't take notes in class.
Bro, I got the notes. That's what I'm saying. Like, even with the building falling over on itself, I thought all of that was cool. That's what I'm saying. It was not about. It's not that I saw this movie and I was like, yo, this camera angle, this lighting, this acting. I'm not saying that. I don't like the movie because it was just like, it was another movie that we I think it was Five Bloods or something else that we had watched where we were talking about how, like, the concept was good, but they just executed it wrong. And I just feel like this is why I feel like for this. I'm not saying that it's the worst movie ever. I'm not, like, once again, I'm not trying to, like, shit on it, but I just think in reference to the concept, in my opinion, is brilliant. What they chose to do with the concept, I thought was stupid, is what I'm saying. I just think that it could have been with the love story, with him creeping off into these other dimensions and trying to find the wife and blah, blah, blah. Even in the midst of that, the B story of what they were chasing, trying to rob a nigga, blah, 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 that could have been more fulfilling.
That was very to the point.
I'm not saying it wasn't to the point. I'm not saying I didn't get it. What I'm saying is I didn't like it. That's what I'm saying. It's not about me not understanding it. I just did not like it.
Okay, I mean, I guess
Rudy
my
is
question
entitled
would be
to his incorrect opinion.
I'm guessing, like, I guess my question is, what exactly more would you expect from it? Simply because they explain everything. I mean, it's the whole premise of the thing is they have to get this dude to come up with this idea. Even though they have the planet, they have to make him come up with the idea himself. So they have to dig deep in order to plant that idea. What exactly would you have done different to get that point across? Would you have added more action? Would it have been more risk in the story? Like what?
I don't think it was like because it was a lack of action. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't that it was a lack of action, or it wasn't even that the action scenes were shitty. I just think that the story and the reason for the action was shitty. Like them like with them doing that, I don't know. Maybe it was just because of where they were doing it or something. I don't necessarily. I can't sit here and say that I have the resolve of what should have happened. I just don't like what did happen. Like I wasn't interested enough. Like the entire time I was watching this, I literally at least twice, to be fair, tapped the screen to see how much longer this was gonna be on. Like I just wasn't interested, bro. Like I just wasn't. Like when it came down to it, it would have been one thing if I was lost and I just didn't get it, and then y'all would explain it to me, and I was like, oh, okay. But I'm not at that point. Everything y'all are saying, I got that from watching the movie. I just didn't like it. I just didn't. I'm just being honest. I just didn't like it.
One thing I want to say is that if you're like the part where he's like catching the shells of his silenced pistol, that's bullshit. Like a silencer just makes it a slightly less loud gunshot.
Right. For sure.
If you're like at the point where you're like worried about people, did you hear that? I heard metal hitting the floor.
For sure. Yeah. The same way we can hear that motherfucker on the movie, somebody else could have heard that shit too. Like it's a silencer, but it's not muting it completely.
It's not silent.
Right. No, for sure. But they do that in all movies. All movies, they do a silencer. That's their way of saying nobody heard this.
Right.
Nobody heard this.
But I challenge anyone in this podcast to shoot a silence gun inside a room and see what happens to your ears.
No, for sure. I can believe it. I can believe it wholeheartedly. This man Jake did a whole switch.
Let's just move on. There's no convention.
I'm sorry, but Kiwi, did you have anything for it? I know we kind of overbearing with our opinions.
No, it's cool. I mean, the only thing I will have to add is the fact that I just didn't understand it. Everything else looks cool. The wardrobe, the action. It looks cool.
That I can understand though. If you don't understand it, I can see how it's difficult to like. But if you understand the movie, I don't see how you can't like it. I think it was very well done. That's why I want to know exactly what it is that you felt was missing. But
I think what's missing is the story. Like once again, I'm literally just using this as an example because it's the first thing coming to my mind. I'm not saying that it should have been this, but let's just say like if they, let's just say like almost on some like kind of in the same concept of deja vu, but not using the machine. But let's just say like 3 days ago some shit happened or whatever. I don't know. So something happened, even if it's not in the past, but something happened where we got to get into this nigga's dream in order to get this money type whatever. You know what I'm saying? And when that happened, when they got into his dream, even with the different levels, like one person on this level, the other person in the van, you know, even with the different levels, you keep all that the same. But when they're going into whatever, like it's almost like we seen the dream or something, and then like we now see them living it out, and they have to like keep the dream perfect to what the dream, you know, whatever dream he had in order to accomplish the mission. Like to me, that's just more exciting. You know what I'm saying? Because now I've seen what is supposed to happen. And if they get one thing off, now that can throw everything else off. And especially with Leonardo having his own agenda, weaving in and out of hell or wherever the fuck he was going to find his wife, that would have threw shit off even more because he's not sticking to the dream. You know what I'm saying? He's saying do this and then breaking the rules. So for me, that once again, that just being an example, but that would have been more exciting to me because I'm like, oh shit. He got his own agenda. They have to stick to this. So what happens when I know for a fact he's going to do his own thing? They don't stick to this. So how do they now combat that whole scenario? That would have been more interesting. Go ahead, Dan.
He didn't have his own agenda.
I was going to say that.
His wife coming he even said it, his wife coming, she always fucks shit up for him. She fucks it up. And so he would always try to avoid seeing her or having contact with her because then she will fuck it up.
But the only reason why she was even a factor is because he kept her memories in, within him or whatever. So that was the whole dilemma. It wasn't that he had his own agenda. His agenda was always to get home to his kids.
Exactly.
But at the same time, he wasn't willing to let go of the memory of his wife, which was creating a problem at every turn.
But I'm saying, but that puts him on his own agenda because nobody else was there for his wife. Who else was?
He wasn't there for his wife.
Wait. What I'm saying, but he was the one. He was the one having to talk to a little therapy chick for her to talk him off the ledge of like, oh no, that's not really her. Or why are you trying to go down there with her? Why are you trying to he had to convince himself to leave into whatever because he wanted to stay with her. He wanted to try to figure out if there is some type of way that she could possibly be alive in this whole scenario. And the reason why I say own agenda, because if you think about this, who else had anything to do with his wife besides him? Everybody else was transferring dreams because they was trying to get this money. He the only nigga off in these other places with his wife. That's his own agenda.
That was the whole problem of the movie, Rudy.
That's his own agenda.
Let me finish. You got to talk, nigga. Let me talk.
That's his own agenda.
Tell him, D.A., what's up?
His own agenda. At the beginning of the movie, when the dude first approached him after he had got caught. He got caught, and then he was like, all right, I want you to come do this for me. Boom. All right, I can do this, but I have this problem. And he was like, well, I can do this, and then you can get back to your kids. Or I can just, I think he said either kill him or do something to him. He had two options. His option was to choose his kids, right? And then, so he has to deal with the fact that his wife keeps coming up. That's an obstacle. It's not him creating a agenda and trying to go solve the problem.
I never said he created the agenda, but he still.
What's an agenda?
Listen to me. Because he had. Listen to me. If you have a drinking problem and you go somewhere and they happen to have liquor and you drink, some people can say that's your fault, some people can say that's not. But then at times, such as Leo did, if you go out your way to go to the liquor store at least once or twice, that is you feeding your own habit. Now, granted, listen to me. Now, you can already say to somebody that you have a problem. But if they put you in a scenario where your problem is going to affect you, that doesn't mean that this is no longer your agenda. This is still your agenda because nobody else has to deal with this problem. Everybody else in this mission is doing the mission. You're the only person dealing with this problem, which means this is your own problem. Your own agenda.
If you saying that like he was trying to get with his wife during the mission.
Go ahead.
Who?
Rudy, you saying that like he was trying to get with his wife during the mission. The parts that I think that you're talking about in the hotel room and all that, that was on his own time before they were in the first dream. That's when the girl found out about his wife and about him.
And that's why his wife keeps popping up all over.
But this is what I'm saying. The
only involvement his wife had in the main mission was the fact that she had the potential, like she did at the end, to pop up and fuck shit up.
And therefore,
he shot the dude.
Didn't pay attention.
But that's because he put her in limbo and all that shit first. Because the point, this is where this all stemmed from. Jay asked me what movie would I rather see. And so the reason why I say you keep Leo on his own agenda, because for one, I'm speaking specifically to the movie that I described. But the reason why I put him in his own lane over here is because he was the only person. Everybody else was trying to accomplish this whole mission in reference to the robbery or whatever it was. Leo was the only person dealing with it besides the girl who was there to try to help him and talk him out of shit or whatever the case may be. So whether it was his own time or whatever, this man this man continued to enter into this dream world because of this problem. Like, yeah, this is a problem. I don't trust you anymore. He said it to me or whatever. But at the same time, he went on his own time. Like he's whether he's trying to deal with this problem, get rid of it, whatever. This is still his own mission. Nobody else. If you're looking at the mission of all the characters in the story, nobody else has a mission with his wife besides Leonardo. Now tell me I'm wrong. Who else has a mission with his wife, with the wife besides Leonardo?
You go in
everybody
because we countered that point. So therefore, you go in the circles again. You're not paying attention.
Well, if you counted it, you did just as good a job as the real movie because I didn't get it either time. If you counted it, you did it just as good as the movie because I didn't get it either time. I'm still not. How is he not on his own agenda?
It's because look this is what you're doing. What?
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I can listen with my ears. Now, what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is, tell me so we can move on. Tell me how was Leo not on his own mission or whatever it is that you're trying to explain.
He was on his own mission, but it didn't have anything to do with the wife. It had to do with him getting back to his children. The wife was the foil of the thing. So
the wife was pretty much the antagonist the entire time.
Exactly. And the reason she kept popping up is because Leonardo couldn't let her memory go. So he kept these memories of her in that elevator thing, which was she called
that
Ellen
was his
Page
psyche,
called
though.
a prison.
This sounds just like Eternal Sunshine. And this is what I'm saying.
Yes,
what?
It is. I would say that in that aspect, it is close to Eternal Sunshine.
You know, in the hotel when she kills herself, she says this is a dream, so she's not accepting her reality. And
that was a flashback to the real life.
What did she tell him? She said, "Come with me," and she jumped. That's how you know that
she was gone.
She's the antagonist, and she's therefore haunting him, basically telling him or making him stay there in this dream state.
I don't know if you remember, but right after the Japanese guy gets shot, Ellen Page is like, you have led your team into this thing without telling them the full story. And the full story is that the wife is going to be popping up. The train comes and blocks through the thing. And the train is why the Japanese guy gets shot in the first place. So, this wife represents the antagonist, right? But
him dealing with his wife to get to his kids is still his agenda. At the end of the day, that still matches the better movie that I just wrote. Is my whole point.
Here's the thing: is he's not trying. He's trying to get to his kids without dealing with his wife. And Ellen Page is saying that you cannot do this. You can't get back to your kids without basically confronting the issues that you have with your past, with your memory, because they are coming to you whether you're facing them or not, and you're endangering the lives of everybody else by not facing them, by keeping her in this little prison box that you go to on your own is endangering the lives. He is the protagonist and the antagonist, because remember, she is him. She's just a projection of his own subconscious. So she's not real. She's not a real person. She's dead. She is him. She's a version of himself.
All that's cute, but my thumb's still down. I don't care for this movie.
It's a real bozo opinion, Rudy.
I'm just being. Nothing that y'all have said has swayed me a little bit. I get it. I understand why y'all like it.
Don't get it.
I just don't.
I don't feel like you completely get it, but it's cool.
I also don't feel like you completely get it, Rudy.
It's cool.
It's okay.
It's cool. It is your American right to be absolutely wrong. You are fine.
Listen. Just because I don't like a movie that y'all love, that has nothing to do with me getting here or not. Y'all can't think that he got to be lost if he don't like this movie. Hey, listen. You know what I'm saying? Christopher Nolan is allowed to not be liked, guys. It's okay, guys. It's okay. You know what I'm saying?
He's allowed to not be liked.
It's okay.
Does really good movies. Again,
he does. He does. And the fact that this got a 9 proves that it wasn't perfect.
It's not perfect because of the silencer catching.
A 9 is still a thumbs up. Either way.
Yeah. A 9 is a dick hanging down with some balls. All right, cool. Shout out to Christopher Nolan. I still think Leonardo is one of the best actors ever. It's no shade to any of you guys. I just didn't like Inception. All right, moving right along. Mid-90s. It's chosen by, you chose this, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. This is actually my second time seeing it. So, real quick, on the count of 3, give me your votes. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What? Did you make this movie? I mean, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing?
You just told us to watch it.
I feel like,
Right.
I feel like it's a great thing, a beautiful thing when.
No, I mean, I had already seen this before, but I can honestly say I like it better this second time watching it. The first time I watched it, I liked it, but I wasn't necessarily thinking to myself like, oh, I'll watch it again. And I'm still not thinking that now, but I'm glad that I did watch it again because I've seen even more that I didn't see the first time. And so, yeah, I mean, I thought Mid-90s was dope. So even before I get into it deep, we'll let you go first because you over there with your feet snuggled and shit.
So I enjoyed this movie. First time seeing this movie, I really enjoyed it. Caught my attention right away. My take from the movie is pretty much, a little kid trying to fit in. A little kid trying to fit in with the big boys. That's it. And I mean, I'm pretty sure we can all attest to this. If anyone, bigger cousins or brother, older brother, want to be like them growing up. Want to do what they was doing, want to follow them. So that's what I took out the movie, and the movie was perfect in explaining that, showing it, and executing. That's all I got to say.
That's all I got to say.
Put a period on this.
My name is Mike. I like sports, and that's it.
I like sports, and that's it.
Contradict your point there. Although I did feel like he was trying to fit in, I really felt like the movie was about family. I felt like he was missing something at home, and so he had this outside family. And the reason I say that, if you watch the end where the mom literally goes into the waiting room and all of them are asleep,
right?
They're just waiting there, and then at the end, because family fights, they bicker sometimes and they have problems. And, that problem can be very damaging. And then at the end when, what's his name? Fourth grade showed the video. I basically summed up. It was like, we're going to fight sometimes, but look at all these great moments that we had, and we're still family. I felt like that was, at least I'm just contradicting your point there. I felt like it was family.
No.
Right. I think it was. I mean, yeah, it's a family, especially in the sense of because I mean that whole like skateboard life, it kind of represents. I would say kind of, but it's a version of gang life, if you will. I mean, maybe not to the extremes of maybe having to get jumped in or killing somebody or whatever, but they definitely were a good influence in the sense of, because he didn't have other friends, his brother treated him like shit, his mom was whoring or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So he wasn't really getting the attention. But at the same time, they definitely had him wilding for a little kid. You know what I'm saying? He's smoking, drinking, you know what I'm saying, fucking with older chicks and shit, you know what I'm saying? So, like, to a mother, that's definitely a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want your kid out here wilding in 4th grade or whatever grade he was in, 6th grade, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He was a kid, so he was definitely wilding in the sense of that, but at the same time,
smoking weed.
Huh?
I say he was
right.
Smoking weed.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I mean, they were a better option for him because at least he knew they had his back. You know what I'm saying? Like, they wasn't gonna let that happen to him. Even when he was about to kill himself, falling off the roof or whatever like that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that was the funniest part. They were like, "Oh my God, this nigga dead!"
right. Like they genuinely cared about him. You know what I'm saying? And I think, like, I've said this on this podcast many times, and I'll say it again. Like, one of my favorite type of movies is when people can pull the curtain back, and bring us into a world that you may kind of know about, but you're not so familiar with. And even with like the whole skateboard thing, this will be the last thing I'll say. My favorite scene of all of it was when whatever had happened that he had did good or whatever, and maybe it was when he survived the fall or whatever, and then the black dude had gave him the new skateboard, and he set it up for him. Like, he put the grip on, he, you know what I'm saying, put the hole with the wheel, And like to me, I thought that was dope because for one, that was, you know, he was kind of earning his stripes, but like that was like a rite of passage. Like me as the OG, I'm gonna set you up with your first official real board. You know what I'm saying? And the next one, you can build on your own or whatever. But like, this is me passing you the torch. Like you with us now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna hook you up. And I thought, to me, not that I've dealt with that with skateboards per se, but I've dealt with moments like that, just even in sports or whatever else in life. And so, like, to me, I know a moment like that was real special to that kid. So to me, I thought that was, you know, I thought that was solid. Sorry to cut you off. Going back to my point about pulling the curtain back, to even see how you put a skateboard together, I never even knew it took all that. I thought you just buy that shit off the rack, put it on the ground, and go. You know what I'm saying? So to see all that, I thought that was dope. Go ahead, though.
I was gonna say I think we all should since we actually all like the movie, we all should mention like our favorite parts of the movie. But my favorite part of the movie had to be the car crash scene. Spoiler alert, the car crash. Mm-hmm. That whole setup and the fact that they kept doing that quick jump scare, and I was like, that's a great tactic because we know he's drunk and he's driving. So I thought that was a great setup and payoff.
Not for sure. Jay, Lonnie?
Me personally, this was my second time watching this movie, and do the second run through, I pretty much like everything about this movie, and that's saying a lot because initially I didn't like it, but I think it was because of the reviews. I just need to stop listening to people's reviews because I heard people, they were just raving about it. Oh, it's such a great movie, da, da, da. And then I watch it and it's just about this little kid and I'm waiting for shit to happen and I'm just like, what exactly were they talking about? But going back and just looking at it, knowing that we were going to talk about it, so I'm actually paying attention to it from a different lens. Like immediately my perception was changed just off of that opening scene of his room, and they were just panning the room and you see the fucking Ninja Turtles pillowcases and all that shit. The nostalgia that came just from that, I was like, yo. And then I was just paying attention just from that standpoint, living in 2020, looking back on a time when 2020 is nowhere in sight. There's no social media. Like, that's how I grew up. We used to just go outside, and even though I didn't have to look for friends because my friends were already established, I do just remember just riding my bike around or,
and legally calling each other the F-bomb. that rhymes with maggot.
Right. Exactly.
Like that was legal in the 90s. I remember that. That was you can say that openly.
Is it
no trouble.
Is it illegal now? Because I still say
oh no, it's illegal. You better not say it in public. You better not say it on stage. You'll be done.
Don't say it on this podcast. Your career is over.
You'll be done.
Yeah, just Kiwi, go ahead and try it now and then see what happens. Hey,
Kiwi, if you said that right now and Lonnie said nigger right now, you would still lose in this whole battle. Like they would miss Lonnie's whole thing. Like, what the fuck he say?
That is all the way fact. But
yeah, go ahead, Jay.
But it was just dope to see that connection again that you don't really see. What I do like about it, they didn't just start off with him with the group of friends. Like, they showed you him being lonely and shit first. You know what I'm saying? They showed you his home life, so we got to know him before these other boys even got into the picture, even though it was really about them collectively. You saw him just like watching them when they was fucking with the store owner and shit. And then just hanging around. The boy picked up skating just so he can go chill with these dudes.
Right.
Like, and that takes you back to a time when you were a kid and you didn't know what your interest was. So you just trying to find other interests just so you can relate to somebody.
Right.
And like shit like that doesn't happen no more. Now you just got your phone or whatever, take a picture, you look like I'm living this kind of life. Hopefully people will like me. You know what I'm saying? It was just something very genuine about the movie, and I love the writing and everything. But we talking about favorite scenes. I just love one when they were in the skate shop, I think, wherever the little hangout spot was, and they were talking about when he first got his nickname, and they were talking about, oh, can black people sunburn and all that shit. And he just looked, and he's just like, with all kind of naivete, just not knowing anything. Right. What are black people? Right. Like, that shit just blew my mind. I was like, yo, that is dope. Like, the same reaction they had, I had. I was like, now this is a dope ass kid. Right, you get this little white kid or whatever, he's looking right at a black dude, and it just did not occur to him. And that's how shit, I'm not gonna say used to be, because I mean, depending on the situation, you can still find shit. But like it was just him looking for friends. He didn't care. Right. Oh, I gotta be with white people. Right. I gotta be with people with long hair or anything like that. Right. I just need some friends. And there's a black dude right in front of me, half black dude right in front of me. Right. I don't know what y'all are. I just know that y'all cool people. I want to be around y'all. It shows in the scene with Gerald Carmichael, I gotta shout him out real quick.
I just want to say this because I forgot to say in the beginning. Shout out to Jonah Hill. He's the writer and director of this movie. Yeah. And then Sonny, I guess, is Suljic. That's the kid who played it. And shout out to all the other skaters who were in the movie as well. He played Stevie, yeah. But yeah, go ahead with Gerard Carmichael.
Yeah, Gerard Carmichael, his cameo in that shit was hilarious, and I really appreciate. Two things I appreciated this movie for was his cameo and the character of Ray. The fact that the one fully black character in the group was like the most positive, and he was the oldest of the group. He was the most mature, even though he's with them, you know, skating and all that shit. He didn't necessarily take part in the smoking and the pill popping and the drinking and all that shit. He was looking out for Stevie, just like he looking out for everybody else, but he still kept that level of maturity, definitely kept that level
goals and shit.
Exactly. He knew what he wanted to do. Like, and then you see the dynamic with him and Fuck Shit, who were best friends. They were the same age. They grew up together, best friends. Fuck Shit was there for him when his brother died and all that shit. But you see that divide. Like, you got Fuck Shit who just wants to party. Oh, I'm gonna live life. I'm just gonna do whatever. And you ask Ray what he wants to do. Oh man, I'm gonna be a skater. And he talking to the dude. He's like, oh, I didn't even know you can make money doing that, man. Yeah, you can. You know what I'm saying, blah blah blah, whatever. So just I could really appreciate that character. And then of course, like I said, Gerard Carmichael, and I like his character simply because you see another black dude who has no relation to these kids, and you see him acting like us, but you can tell it's innocent. Right. He's saying, fuck these kids, straight up. You said, fuck these kids. But at the same time, it's like, you're not like, oh my God, what is he going to do? Is he going to shoot him? Is he going to attack him? You can clearly tell he's just there doing his job, and now kids are getting a hard time. Man, fuck y'all kids. Get the fuck away.
Get into a roasting battle and shit.
Exactly. It was epic. I just loved like that part. I was smiling throughout the whole thing before he even said anything funny. I was just sitting there, smiling at that, just enjoying that.
To piggyback off what you just said, real quick, too, Jay. Another dynamic which they played well in here, because you got to remember, Fuck Shit. He even mentioned like his values were different because he didn't live in the hood. Like Ray never lived in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like Ray was like, this skateboard shit, like it's bigger than just. I'm not just doing it just for fun. Like when I'm doing this, like I'm practicing. Like I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to network. So even when he came over there drunk, touching the dude afro, I'm not trying to dish you, but at the same time, like I'm trying to network with them so I can, get the fuck up out of here. You about to mess it up because you over here drunk, acting crazy or whatever. So I think that not only he was just the mixed kid, but he didn't just have a value of like, I want to stay in the hood because I'm this gangster. Like his parents, he said his parents went to Harvard and all. Like he was set. He didn't have to do anything. You know what I'm saying? My parents took the car. He the only person with a car. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like he didn't really care, and he was cool with punking little white boys like Stevie's brother. You know what I'm saying? He'll talk all that to him, but when it came down to actually getting off the step to go to Gerard Carmichael, Ray got up. You feel what I'm saying? Like even with all the talking back and forth, there were still levels to the and that's why Ray got the most respect because he had the goals, whatever. He was the oldest. But he also, the way he carried himself, like he was just really who he was, and like Fuck Shit was like he just wanted to just, he was Chris Golden, low key. You know what I'm saying? Like he was Chris Golden, but Chris been in the hood for a while, but he was Chris Golden. I mean, let's just be real.
Oh wow. But yeah, he was like a typical 17-year-old, just really more thinking about the now than the long term. So it made sense. I mean, how many people do you know like that? I was about to say how many kids, but how many people do you know like that? So, it was definitely real. Like all the characters were real. Like even Ruben, down to how he brought Stevie, so to speak, into the group, but then he was just hating on him the entire time.
Yeah. That character, that was a good character because that nigga always exists. Because you take the nigga who's he's the youngest, he been getting shit on this whole time, so he finally got the younger person. He can, and the thing about it was he wasn't really, everything he was telling him wasn't really wrong because, like, being really nice or whatever, like, boys don't really do that. You know what I'm saying? Granted, once again, they were using the F word that only Kiwi uses. But he was kind of putting them on game, but at the same time, he would go a little overboard because, like, of course, thank you, that's common manners. But he like, nah, don't say that. You know what I'm saying? Because he himself is trying to be so tough. So now he's trying to show, if I also raise up a protege who's tough like me, I'll get even more respect. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I low-key hated but loved his character the most because
I hated him
because right. But I hated him as how he acted, but his character was so important to Stevie's growth because when Stevie became the man, he outdid his brother and him and Ruben. You know what I'm saying? Like he got the boy before while Ruben was still trying to buy one. You know what I'm saying? He got the girl. Like he earned his stripes, and that gave him more triumph to outdo his brother, outdo Ruben. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought it was dope. I thought it was dope.
I liked Ruben.
Oh, go ahead.
My bad. I like Ruben because that was such real life. Mm-hmm. It's like you said, he brought him in. He's the one training him, and then Stevie gets more popular with him. All the guys, get clingy with him, and now Ruben's the one hating on him. Mm-hmm. It's like every time Stevie did something great, they always show Ruben with a stank face.
Right.
Yeah.
That's because Stevie took the fucking chances. Stevie was the fucking gangster that actually made the move. He jumped. He did the jump.
Right.
We're talking about our favorite scenes and stuff, and for sure, I mean, not even close. That was my favorite scene. The song from New Slaves is in the background, and just the style of it, and just him just going, knowing he's probably not going to make it, but risking his life to show off for his new friends. And I know we've all been there, we've all done stupid shit with our young guy friends to try and prove ourselves and end up getting hurt sometimes or getting in trouble. And, this movie, man, is I really give props to Jonah Hill because, just that scene that Jay was talking about where he's like, what's a black person? I still to this day have that conversation with Jay outside of comedy shows sometimes. You know what I'm saying? That shit is real. When you're a white kid and you've never been around a black person before, you're curious and you want to ask questions. And if you're around somebody that's down to talk and down to get in it and get real, that's exactly what that conversation feels and looks like. Right. I've been in 100 of those conversations in my life.
Right.
And, Rudy, you said earlier about them, being in a gang. And I think the reason that they were skateboarders is because it was so symbolic of different things. Him falling, that was him getting jumped in. That was
right. For sure.
They didn't use the gang per se, but I think there were a lot of things were alluding to them being a gang. Being in South LA. Being in that neighborhood. I loved the. I liked all of the characters. I thought the older brother was a very interesting character. You see him being this bully, and you're like, man, this guy's such an asshole. But then he explains that the reason that he's so angry is because he watched his mom just sleep with all of these guys when he was a kid, and he's like, you don't even know what it was like when I was your age. He's like, you think you're so tough and so cool now. And you even look, and the older brother never found that group. He's still alone, walking the streets, alone, no gang, no friends, still angry, no unresolved. And I love Ray, that character of Ray, where he's like, he's not skating for the lifestyle, like fuck shit. He's not skating to party as an excuse to like be cool and wear cool clothes and all this. Like he's really doing it because that's his dream. And you see fuck shit's like jealousy of that come up in that scene where he's trying to like, oh, Ray's talking to those two pro skaters, so I'm gonna go do that, even though I'm not really like in it for the same reasons, but I feel entitled to have that same level of respect given to me. You know, like that's so real. That's such a real thing. And to take that and film an interaction like that with basically children in a children's setting, which can apply to anything, especially in like comedy, bro. Like, you know, I mean, we see that all the time of people that are just comics, just for the lifestyle. They want to be out in the nightlife. They want to be smoking weed. They don't ever want to put in on the weed. They don't ever want to like do any of the real work. You know, they just want to like, oh, but here's Dave Chappelle, so I'm gonna go. And it's like, dude, fuck off, man. Like this is not. You haven't earned that. You know. It was so good, man. It's such a good, like, I love a good coming of age movie. You know, I love a good, like, you know, a little kid becomes a slightly more mature kid, but still has a long way to go.
I love, just to go to, just picking up with kids real quick, this is a real quick comment. I really love good child actors. And I thought that, because even with the guys who were, I mean, because the young kid was the main actor, but the other guys, I mean, they were skateboarders, like, but you could tell they were kind of like regular people who lived in that world. Like they live in that skateboard world. Like that's who they really are. So I thought they even did a good job of it almost seemed like they were told to portray themselves, but it still like it felt very natural, and it didn't feel like somebody was forcing them to act. You know what I'm saying? Like
I mean, that's like that scene that I was saying with the sunburn, with black people getting sunburn. I mean, how that scene almost seemed impossible to be written. Like that scene almost just seemed like
that was probably a real conversation.
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened for real. I'm sure because you know this is similar to like the Honey Boy. This is Jonah Hill's kind of like reenactment of almost like his upbringing type of situation.
Sure.
I did not know that. I was curious about that, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a kind of semi-biographical.
Right. It's not as dead on as Honey Boy is to Shia LaBeouf's life, but it's like a depiction of what his life, you know, like what he kind of grew up in, basically.
Yeah, his experiences and whatnot.
Right.
That's what's up.
And you know, one scene that I also really liked, and this will kind of be like my last point, but you know, I love that scene where the mom is now all of a sudden very invested in her son. Like she's all of a sudden she's worried about all of these things, but she's not around. You know what I'm saying? Like she's really not like playing a big part in his life, but you know, now she decides that these kids aren't good for him. But you know, I mean, that's very like irresponsible parenting. And that also goes to show why his older brother is the way that he is. It was just, it all tied in very well. It was like very good. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it an 8. An 8 out of 10.
You better give that higher than an 8.
What you about to say, Jay?
One thing, I mean, we already pretty much touched on what the movie was about, as far as the message, but I think it was really well done, and basically wrapping everything up pretty much in one line in the scene with Stevie and Ray, when he was talking about, you know, just sometimes I can't take it or whatever. He's talking about, he's like, basically when he told him that his brother died and all that.
That was a phenomenal scene.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ray was just like, it just feels good to have someone there.
And then it's like, come on.
And then, yeah, exactly. Like that's the entire premise of the movie.
Yeah.
In that one line, you know, right there, like that's everything being wrapped up. And it was like in the middle, a little bit towards the end, but like that just wrapped everything up. You see, everybody just wants somebody there. The mama obviously wants somebody there.
Right.
The brother is suffering from not having anybody there. He found his group, and each of them they needed to have somebody there. So yeah, and that just that scene alone, just having everything wrapped up, and just if you didn't understand what the movie was about, you would just there.
That scene, right? No,
and it was it was emotional, but at the same time very very straightforward. Just this is what happens. You know, people go through this. This kid is feeling like this. His homeboy's trying to make him feel better. It was. I think it was perfect. Like I don't think that would have had the same effect if it was like 4th grade or fuck shit giving Stevie this talk. Like
right, for sure.
Perfect to have that conversation between Stevie and Ray, and
for
just
sure.
let them, you know what I'm saying, oldest and youngest, just go ahead and get this, bro. Really. but yeah, I just think that it was just really dope how they did that, and that was just one of the most standout scenes to me. Yeah, just because of that, just because of the context of that talk and everything, just how it came about. And then, you know, just seeing, like, in a way, he was like, yeah, it just feels good to have people there. And then, like you said, to come on, that was just like, nigga, I got your back.
Right.
We got each other type shit. We're here for each other type shit. So, yeah, that shit was just super dope to me.
You know what makes that scene all the more better?
Yeah.
The placement of it. Because right after it, we actually go into the climax and see all of that. All that conflict between everyone, because he talked about what Ruben was going through, what 4th grade was going through, what's going on with fuck shit, yeah. And then we go to this moment where they're in the back of their shop and they're having this party, and you see them all trying to do their own thing necessarily, and I think, like I said, the placement of that is just perfect. Beautiful.
Yeah. No, that was a very, very valid point that Jay made in reference to like that one scene, you know, just them using the dialogue and then that whole scene just to display what the whole movie, you know, was about. I think that's and it, even to further that, all of the people who were just there for them, like they were even showing like none of these people were perfect. Like fuck shit got his own problems, but at the end of the day, when I needed him most, he was there for me. You know what I'm saying? Like this person may not be perfect, but I'm there. You know, it's like they're as long as we have somebody there, like nobody's going to be the perfect all the time, whatever like that. But at the times you need them most, like they're there, and that's when it counts. And my last but certainly not least comment about this movie is, this is a great depiction of the difference between how white people and black people raise their kids, because no black kid would ever cuss their mama out the way Stevie did his. You know what I mean?
Boy, stood up in his seat, boy.
Listen to me. I'm talking about not even in a movie with a director like that for those two things to happen. Because that black mama in the movie would have beat his ass. in the movie.
One F. Gary Gray, John Singleton.
He would have been hanging on the
any
cross.
movie.
I'm afraid to talk to my mama like that right now. Okay, and
I'm grown, and my mama still, if she hit me, cause she still be like, "Excuse me." What'd you just say? I'm grown, lady. Leave me alone. I ain't gonna repeat myself. I'm grown, lady. Leave me alone.
Tell me why that's the part Naya came in on, and she was like, "Ooh, that little boy would have got it."
The crazy thing to me was,
Go ahead.
No, the crazy thing to me was the energy she had forcing him into the shop. She's an authoritative parent.
Right.
Let's go.
Right.
Come on. And then she tells them off, you don't give drugs to my son. You don't do this. Da, 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 da. But all of a sudden, you got them straight cupcake when he yelling on the
Like every time she was trying to talk, I was like,
in her face, dog. In her face. This is here with it. He is here with it.
I just knew she was finna uppercut him like the bus driver did that girl on the.
I was waiting.
You going to jail now?
I was waiting for the smack, the elbow, something. Yeah, buddy would have went through a window, bro. He through a window.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
One more point. I actually wrote a note about this that I wanted to make. We talk about the dialogue and all that, but even the silent, well, not necessarily silence, but the scenes that didn't have any dialogue also spoke volumes.
Yes.
Like the opening scene where he's just getting his ass beat. We don't know what that was about yet, but later you see what's up. And then that goes damn, I don't have my notebook with me, but I remember specifically because I wrote it down. I really wrote it down. But specifically, when he woke up in the hospital and his brother's there, the entire movie, they're estranged.
Right.
Pretty much, they just have this distant relationship or whatever. Everything some kind of bargain, compromise. They're not really seen as siblings type shit. But in that scene, where not one word was spoken, the first person he sees when he wakes up, you might expect his mom, maybe even a doctor or something there. It's his brother, and then he's there with orange juice. You know what I'm saying?
What was the obsession with the orange juice? What was that?
That was just like, I think it represented like something that the brother valued and like didn't ever want to really share with Stevie, and like it was just kind of like representation of their relationship. And the fact that he was like giving it to Stevie now is this like you know, it's this physical embodiment of him kind of like extending brotherly affection towards him.
Yeah, right. Because if he ain't have obviously no father, and then had a distant mama or whatever, he don't know how to express himself. So orange juice is how it goes.
Right.
The older brother is like comes across as very selfish and very like not thinking about Stevie really at all, except violently. And here you have him like bringing him his favorite item, as if to say like, I'm your brother, like we're in this together, you know?
Exactly. Like you in the hospital, I got your back. It don't seem like I got your back any other time, but right now,
I don't know how to say this.
Exactly.
But so here's orange juice.
I think that was kind of spoken as well during that scene after he seen him with the friends and all.
You know
that.
what? The orange juice.
Honey.
Go ahead, throw that +1 on there.
I forgot about the orange juice.
Forgot about the orange juice.
But oh yeah, when they were playing the game and shit, he's just like, oh, you think you're so hot with your friends and all that. Like I think that was kind of like his cry for help. Like, damn, where's my people? Or why aren't we like cool like that or whatever? But yeah, that shit was just the movie as a whole was super dope. And I found out the vagina was much more lower than I thought it was. So that was
hilarious. And also all of us have had in our life.
Right.
Listen,
I remember having a conversation with my older cousins when I was younger, when we were arguing, did women have 2 or 3 holes? Like in reference to like the pee hole, butt hole, and was there something in between? Because when I was younger, I literally thought you stuck it in the vagina somewhere, like in the pee hole. I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Until I learned that there was a pee hole and then there was the fuck hole. I didn't
know it was one hole. Specifically this sensation of being like, okay, all right. That's interesting.
I always thought that the hole was directly pointed
like a
out
belly
in front
button.
of her.
Like a belly button.
Kind of like our meat.
Yeah, like a belly button, yeah.
Right.
Exactly. So me and Stevie was on the same point. Huh? What happened?
I said, how we get on this conversation?
Because he said it in the movie.
I mean, it's just we made it a transition from vagina. It
was a class line. He said I didn't realize the vagina was that low.
Right.
Talking about dicks now.
Who's talking about dicks?
What are you talking about?
What did you hear? What is this? This man on a whole other podcast.
And with vaginas, the perfect transition to set it off.
Right.
Well, Kiwi had something.
Yeah,
I know you
I have one more thing. The only backstory we had to the mom was when we figured out she was a hoe, or she just fucked with a lot of dudes. When the dude, when Stevie was walking into the house and the dude was coming out the room with his shoes in his hands, pants half down. That was like the only type of back information we had on the mom. That's it.
Well, right after that is when the brother told her what was up. Told Stevie what was up. Oh, she's a lot different than when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Heard a lot of fucking sounds.
Right.
Which is awesome on her part. Just letting her kid listen to her fuck. That's just amazing.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But they're all looking for their place in the world. One of us said that. Everybody in this movie is like trying to find their way and trying to find their people.
Like real life, basically.
She was still a bad mom. Let's just be honest.
Oh no, 100%.
No, she was a bad mom. I wouldn't call her a bad mom, but He was
What
definitely.
I should say, but you would knock it down.
But you'll take it down.
So you ain't taking that.
All right, and in the words of Lonnie Cox, speaking of vaginas, let's move on to set it off. There are no vaginas here to talk about it. Shout out to the director F. Gary Gray, starring Jada Pinkett Smith, Queen Latifah, Vivica A. Fox, and introducing Kimberly Elise, which I didn't realize this was her first movie, or at least first movie, like I guess kind of starring in, if you will.
We ain't got to do the thumbs up, thumbs down. We just skip that part. We already know what it is. I don't think if anybody here says a thumb down, please leave this session now.
Hey man, you don't know my heart, okay?
You don't know my heart.
Right. I have reason.
You don't know my heart. All right,
I feel like it was a lack of male influence in the movie.
Here we go. Lack of male influence. That's hilarious. All right, here we go. The count of 3. 1, 2, and 3.
I'm so serious.
Both y'all going to hell.
Thanks.
It's not a great movie. I don't know if you noticed that, but it's just not a great movie. It's a classic, but it's not a great film.
It's not a great written movie. It is.
No.
It's
the only.
We can get into it. What's up?
Look at what was the point of this whole movie? The girl, Vivica Fox. First of all, let's talk about their acting. Shit. It was all shit.
First of all, no.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Queen Latifah, body, Cleo. Queen Latifah and Jada Pinkett was the best too.
Queen Latifah did a very, very good and convincing Ice Cube impression throughout this whole movie. Vivica Fox is not really good in many movies acting to me. Like she was a star back then. I mean, if you even notice in the credits, Jada Pinkett, Queen Latifah, and Vivica Fox's name was above the title. They were individually before the title even came up, and then they brought everybody else. So like they were big stars at the time. So I get why Vivica Fox was in the picture. But in reference to acting performances, you're not. I mean, you can tell me, but I'm not going to listen to the fact that Cleo, because shit like Queen Latifah is known for this role as Cleo. You know what I'm saying? Because she's so.
Oh,
go ahead.
Hold on. I'm gonna let you finish. I just want to say this real quick. She was famous off of Khadijah from Living Single, but to this day, motherfuckers call her Cleo. Yeah. Don't say she did not kill this role, bro. Do not say she did not kill this role.
If you see a girl with them braids, they call them Cleo braids.
Wasn't Cleo a rapper?
Say what?
Wasn't she? Yeah, she was a rapper. She is a rapper.
She pioneered female rap.
Yeah, facts. But I mean, she became mainstream.
Is not just Queen Latifah being herself.
No.
I think Queen Latifah took a lot.
You sound whiter than Lonnie right now, D.A. What the fuck are you talking about? Queen Latifah was not Cleo in her rapping style. She wasn't there.
She was her in her rapping style.
Never carried herself as Queen Latifah looking like Cleo. Never.
So let me interject here. Because I have an opinion on Queen Latifah acting. Let me cut in here. So I think Queen Latifah did a great job. I think Queen Latifah's from New York originally, right?
Mm-hmm. Queens, I think.
Okay. So Queen Latifah definitely did a great job of like becoming of the area. Like she was very convincingly a person from South Central Los Angeles.
Ronnie,
I think in order to,
You know South Central?
I mean, I know of it.
Okay, but have you been there? So like I'm saying, how do you know it's accurate?
She's from Jersey.
I'm asking 100 movies that take place there, and that's the vibe of it.
I seen movies, nigga. I know how they act over there.
Almost every F. Gary Gray movie is centered in Los Angeles.
Let me ask you this.
That's true. Facts.
DA, let me ask you this. Have you ever been to fucking Asgard? So how do you know that's actually?
That is a whole new world. Based in reality.
I don't understand that question. Like,
very different. Asgard is something.
How do you
here's the
Chris
thing.
Hemsworth did a good
Queen
job.
Latifah
I don't know if
did
he
do
really.
a good job of being Cleo. It's like an iconic role of hers for sure. But
right.
do you guys not agree? Did you guys not see Ice Cube coming through in a lot of her mannerisms?
I'm gonna be
No,
honest.
I just seen West Coast. I mean, like Ice Cube may be one of the more popular ones who kind of maintain that West Coast swag, but like she just seemed like a gay girl that was from LA.
Like the fact that Dr. Dre was in this
That's
movie,
it.
which I completely forgot.
Dr. Dre was horrible in this movie. He
Really
was horrible in this movie.
But like I forgot that he was in this movie, and it was funny because as I'm like watching it, I'm like, man, Queen Latifah is kind of like reminding me of Ice Cube. You know, she kind of has like a doughboy vibe. She even did the Ice Cube like face. Yeah, and I was like, and then Dr. Dre popped in, and I'm like, okay, so she must have been like consulting with NWA at the time to like get the vibe of. That is,
you thinking too deep about it. You think she wasn't.
NWA was long dead by that time, man.
Consulting with Ice Cube, I just think that she went after. Because Ice Cube is not the only person who has that demeanor when it comes down to
no, he does. But she just literally reminded me of him. Like
but that's what I'm saying because I think that he's just one of the more popular ones. So your mind is easy. I'm not saying I don't get where you make that comparison, but I don't think she was trying to like reenact an Ice Cube. Like I don't think she went to like, yo, let me do my best girl gay version of Ice Cube.
I agree with that too, Rudy, because it was also 1996. Like Ice Cube wasn't Ice Cube that I know him of. That this like icon of the day. Right. You know what I mean? Like that motif was being crafted in that time. Right. And here we have them like doing it. I think the beginning of the movie is like fucking ridiculous. It's like this like very of its time 90s like insane shootout that like doesn't make any sense. It's just like bullets flying in every which way. The part that really took me out of the movie is the part that they're all like very poor, but they live in this like converted firehouse, which you guys live in LA. That shit would cost $20,000 a month in LA.
That's Cleo shit.
Huh?
That was Cleo shit.
Yeah, okay, but either way, they're not like wealthy people, and that you guys, if you live in LA, you know a place like that is going to cost tens of thousands of dollars a month to live.
Yeah, I think it was more implied that she was just kind of just like crashing in a type of situation, right? But when well, go ahead, Jay. I know you're trying to talk. Go ahead.
Oh, I have one more thing. Also, they're trying to get money. Why didn't Jada Pinkett Smith just sue the LAPD for wrongful murder of her brother?
Because when she went to robbing the bank, remember, it wasn't about her getting the money. It was when Vivica Fox's character said something about like, we're just fucking over the system who fucked us over, something like that. Like for her, it was more about the revenge of just saying like, fuck y'all, as opposed to
losing her job.
Yeah. Right, because she technically had the money when she slept with the old boy, but then the brother wasn't gonna go to college, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So when she went and did it, it was just more or less of just saying fuck the system as opposed to just saying and Rick 6 is still passing, so you didn't hate it that much. Go ahead, Diego. Jay,
no, I don't hate it that much. It's a classic.
I'll let Diego. Go ahead.
I just think Vivica Fox, her motives were stupid. I felt like that it just didn't make sense. It makes sense, but it just wasn't enough for me. And then the whole
this nigga stole my answer.
The whole fact that Jada Pinkett slept with this dude and ripped up the check, I think that was stupid.
I agree. I agree 100%.
It was just a bunch of stuff happening in this movie that I was just like, this is just not. I kid you not. I wish I never watched this movie again. The first time I watched it, I loved it. But now I watched it, I'm like, this movie is trash. This is terrible.
You don't have a good argument or point, bro. I'm just wait. You don't have a good argument.
I'm still going. What the heck? Why would, what was his name? Luther? Why would he go in the vent and steal the money? How would he even know what was there?
Can I shit on his head?
Oh, shit on my head, because it never said, oh, I went in there and I searched. Yeah, come on.
All right, number one, as far as each character had their own personal reason to why they were going to rob the bank.
I got it.
Cleo. Her motive was just money, period. Just money, period. Vivica A. Fox, it was revenge. She wanted revenge because she got fired for a bank robbery that she completely had nothing to do with. And the first thing they said was, because you know the person, you're guilty, you're fired. And she literally just got a promotion. Right. And she's been working there for 2 years.
And that scene was powerful, Key. When you talk about the scene when they had the black woman having to stand up to the white dude and try to fight for her job, and they still shitted on her, even though all because she knew the nigga who robbed her because of her living circumstance that she's trying to come up out of at this funky ass bank that the white man did not want to let her get out of. Go ahead, tell about it, Kiwi.
On top of that, when Vivica A. Fox was walking out, when she was like, you didn't even ask me
the
if I
whole
was
story.
thirsty.
Tell her.
Yeah, and then when she was walking out, when she was like, you didn't even ask me if I was thirsty, sister. That right there was just that
female cop was a terrible actor as well. The female cop was a terrible actor. I said the female cop was a terrible actor as well. She was horrible.
You know what? I think she was overacting because she had like 2 lines, so everything else had to happen with her face.
There's another part of this movie that doesn't make sense where the cop literally in the first moment of investigating them has solved the case. He's like, yeah, this is Jada Pinkett Smith and Vivica A. Fox. Like, I see their face. I think it's them. It's like too many coincidences for this to not be them. And the black cop is like, no, you're not going to solve this case because there's an hour left in this movie and we need more action.
But Lonnie,
that part made sense. I know exactly what you mean, but it made more sense just going off of, I mean, he pretty much said they had just killed the dude.
For sure. But they're also investigating a bank robbery. And they have the right person who did it.
But remember, he didn't have any concrete evidence. He just said, I'm pretty sure it's her. I'm pretty sure that this is her in the video. And I'm pretty sure that Vivica had something to do with the previous bank robbery. But he didn't have any concrete evidence, and he was wrong about Vivica having any involvement.
And he didn't put all of them together until when he seen them get in the car, he took the picture and said, "Boom!" I figured they all hung together because he knew about the individual. We killed her brother, bank robbery here. I know Cleo from her past trouble, so he just started piecing it together as the movie kept going. Go ahead, D.A.
Why was there no moment where he got in trouble for going against what his boss said?
What did he go against his boss?
Because he's a white police officer and he can do it.
Right, and the movie ended with them dying, so we didn't see what happened to him when he got back to the office. Like, we don't know.
Like Lonnie said, his boss said, "Don't investigate."
He did it on his own.
Yeah, exactly. He did it on his own. He did
it. Yeah, listen to me.
Why didn't George Zimmerman get in trouble, nigga?
Right. He did it on his own, and by the time any of the results came out from this investigation, it ended with the 3 of them dying and him seeing Stoney get on the bus, and he's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna bother to chase her. So
I like that. That was a cool scene. I like that when he
that was the biggest
on the bus and lets her go.
Well,
that was the biggest part of bullshit. What do you mean?
That's what's so crazy. No, that's what's so crazy. Wait. This was so crazy because Lonnie, you have a great point, but when I watched it this time, Jay, I understand exactly what you mean. Because number one, that bus would have been shot the fuck up, okay?
Oh, for sure.
Let's start there. Right. There's no way this bus should have been just slow creeping this whole time, just taking its time. You got all this police action out here, and they said, bah, and the bus just still creeping along. So to that degree, but at the same time, for the cinematic effect and to make a deep ending to that whole thing, to Lonnie's point, I thought that was great because it did show almost kind of like, we've already killed your friends. We accidentally killed your brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is your free pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. So I think it may have been kind of hard to pull that off without it being some type of fiction in there. But at the same time,
I think it was more of a message than supposed to be taken.
It worked for the story. It worked for the ending. It made sense. Yeah, okay, we killed your brother. I understand what your motives was behind this and all that. I understand all that. But for y'all to say that it was poorly written or executed or whatever, and give that part a pass is bullshit. Because that
I'm
was
not giving it a pass.
was the biggest
of a
piece
poorly
of
written
bullshit.
movie. It was my favorite poorly written part.
But when you say poorly written, what are you talking about specifically? You talking about the storyline itself, or you mean like the dialogue, or what are you specifying?
Well, poorly
whoever
written,
says it's poorly written.
I don't know if poorly written is fair. It just like doesn't hold that. It doesn't stand up. You know, like it really is of its time. Like for example, the sex scene. What you guys would know this more than me, but like every black movie from that era, if they have a sex scene, the dude is pouring food on the chick.
Yeah, that's
well, it's like that sex scene did not need to happen. Like it was.
Name another movie that.
The Menace. It's either Menace to Society or Boys in the Hood, and then they make fun of it in Don't Be a Menace to South Central, where he's like melting the fucking cheese, the government cheese.
Right. But I think they made fun of it because I don't think that happened. I don't remember the food thing being a thing. Like maybe like oils or something, and it kind of being whatever. But I don't really remember the food thing besides maybe those two movies.
And every 90s black movie had a sex scene, so don't say it didn't need the sex scene.
Oh no, it doesn't. It did not add to the story at all.
Oh no, it had nothing to do with the story, but we needed to know that he hit that. That's the whole point.
Wait. But how many movies put a sex scene in it where it was just absolutely necessary?
It never need a sex scene.
Very
only time I can think about it was maybe like Love and Basketball when they lost their virginity type shit. Like that was that was the story long.
But sex can always be implied though. You never need a sex scene.
He catches them cheating.
Right, catching them cheating. Right, exactly. Soul food, exactly. That's the part
of the movie.
Right,
and no food.
Shape of Water has several sex scenes that are very valid.
Which one?
I don't get Shape of Water from start to finish, so I'm not gonna lie to you. Shape of Water was
I haven't even
Water is bullshit, just like this movie.
No. I don't understand Shape of Water.
This is why I say.
Look at left Kiwi. Why I should like this movie. Y'all cut Kiwi off.
Well, I like the movie just because it is a classic. This nigga say shit. It is a classic. This is another one of those movies that I've just seen a lot as a kid, but looking at it through adult eyes and through movie fans' eyes, this is why I say it's poorly written. Just because, a point to DA's point, they didn't have enough of aside, I guess, from Frankie and her revenge plot, they didn't really have enough to go directly to bank robbing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Especially Jada Pinkett Smith. Like, I really didn't.
I don't think they did.
Wait.
You guys not bank robbing is the lady who lost her son.
No, listen to me. Listen to me. Cleo represents that friend, which I've had before, because I've had people try to talk me into robbing gas stations and all type of shit when I was a teenager, and I just didn't do it. But I have friends who didn't need to necessarily break in with a gun anywhere and rob anything. But when that bank robbery happened in the beginning, Cleo is looking at how the fuck did these idiots pull off a successful bank robbery? So she's saying, wait. So she's saying, yo, man, we both in the hood, whatever like that. Like, I'm about that. Like, I'll rob a bank. If these niggas can pull it off, I know we smart enough to pull it off. So she's already right there because that's who she is. You got Kimberly Elise, who baby got taken from her. So she locked in, she need that money. Jada Pinkett got her whole thing with the system fucking over her brother, and Frankie got robbed in the beginning and lost her job, which she shouldn't have. So to me, I feel like every last one of them got a valid reason.
Same character twice. You said Jada
Pinkett had her brother. Frankie got robbed at the bank. Cleo was a goon, and Kimberly Elise lost.
Why did she need to go rob the bank? To get out?
Like who?
Oh, that's stupid.
No, Jada. That's what I explained this earlier. Remember you was talking about talking in circles? That's what you're doing. I explained this earlier when I said that Jada Pinkett she was never about robbing the bank. Even when they was doing it the second time and so on and so forth, like that even just became about a whole friendship thing or whatever the case may be. The initial thought was when the situation happened with her brother, and they were taking care of her when she was throwing up and sick or whatever. When they got to that little meeting place and she was sitting there quiet, Vivica Fox was talking about how, man, we just getting the system back. Like the system they've already fucked us over and they're gonna keep fucking us over. So they got insurance, they're not gonna miss this money. We ain't gonna hurt nobody, we ain't gonna kill nobody, we finna go take this money. Fuck them. Everybody got their own reason to do whatever they want to do with it, and we gonna be good. Now, money got taken here from Luther, they spent too much, whatever, we ain't got enough to leave. So everybody started wanting to leave. And what's so brilliant about this movie is that they kept giving them a new goal at a different checkpoint. Like, it started with this, but by the time they got to that last bank robbery, it wasn't just about what it started with. Like, it was about, like, we got 3 days to get out of here. They even said that, like, we got to do this and rock. And, like, as stuff was happening, the story kept progressing to get more and more intense. Because honestly, I didn't even realize this was a 2-hour movie until I watched it this time. Because there was so much that they were adding into this. And for me, I'm going to say this before my turn ends to talk. Not even so much harping on just the writing, but to me, like, I think movies are so dope when they show black culture. And this is what I'm talking about. This has nothing to do with the bank robbery or nothing. But that one of the opening scenes when they're showing the little barbecue for the brother graduation, like, I literally was like, yo, I can't wait till this pandemic is over with so I can go attend some shit like that. Because, like, to me, you can see niggas just hanging out, music bumping. Like, you, as much as somebody else can see that scene and not think nothing about it, I was like, yo, that's a dope scene to have. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's leading into the conversation about the graduation, but to even just show that festivity, because that's what we do. Like, especially in the 90s, it's a barbecue for anything. If somebody would have died, they would have had a barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what the get-together is. And so to me, I think that F. Gary Gray, I like him as a director altogether, but I think that showing the Los Angeles culture, putting 4 women in whatever their vulnerable states or whatever their reasons is, even though Cleo was just kind of just more her goon shit, and giving them this excitement of a thriller of robbing banks, because they could have easily been like, well, let's just scam somebody or whatever. Scamming wasn't that big in the 90s. That's more millennial shit. Anything else they would have tried, it wouldn't have had the same impact on the bank. Like, a lot of people think about Set It Off, and they think about, it's 4 women who robbed the bank. When it's really, it's a whole backstory or whatever to it. So to me, man, I think that when it comes down to the storyline, did every actor execute everything? Did every line land, whatever? No, not necessarily. But when it comes down to the writing of the story itself, I thought that the stakes were high enough to start it, and on the level that they did start. And I thought that the stakes increased as the movie kept going, and they turned up as their stakes increased.
Really, I agree. I think that they kind of touched on some, like, very important cultural issues about, especially the police murdering the boy and Vivica A. Fox being just, like, lumped in with the bank robber at the beginning and losing her job. And she's literally sitting with the blood of a lady on her thing. And the cop is like, you didn't, and it's like, dude, fuck you, man. Like, she's not a fucking Navy SEAL. She's not trained for this. She makes $11 an hour,
Right.
Like, and I think they kind of they were like, oh, let's make a new Heat. Let's make a new, like, action film, instead of really, like, sitting in the, like, cultural of, like, Jada Pinkett Smith having to, like, sell her body to, there were, like, parts of this film that were important, that were, like, big messages that I think kind of got skipped over so we could rush to the bank robbery scenes and the.
I don't agree though. That's what I'm saying. The bank robbery stuff, all of that stuff took time. They really set up everybody's individual story before they got to the first bank robbery. Go ahead.
That's true.
All right,
that's true.
So pretty much piggyback of what you said, Rudy. To me, the bank robberies was just a footnote. Was just the aftermath of each character individual setup. And it's like how you said, how, like, open the act, how, like, black people will get together for anything. You think about any get together, black people's bringing food for. Like you said, when somebody died, that's what we have a repast for, to eat. When somebody get wedding, the reception, to eat. Somebody having a baby, we get together, come eat. Like, no matter what we're doing, we're eating. And then, like I said, like you said, the how they spoke about the culture without really speaking on it was amazing. the black culture, like Cleo being a black lesbian.
Hey man, what's understood?
Can I be invited to the next barbecue?
Y'all bullshitting. That's what y'all.
But you got to think about it. You just looking at it as, oh, what was the point for the bank robbery? You got to look at it deeper than that. It wasn't just about the bank robbery.
All those points were very valid. I think y'all still.
DA would have much rather if they would have went into another dream or some shit or from some other black girls.
First of all, last week when we had a very important topic about black people and PTSD, your ass didn't think it was important.
I did.
The opposite.
I did think it was important. I said that he was being attacked by gangsters who didn't have guns, which didn't make sense to me. Gangsters without guns don't make sense.
Not what happened.
Gangsters without guns don't make sense.
But another thing, when the detective was pretty much saying, okay, these are the people that's doing it. These are the ones that's doing it. You know, he didn't have concrete evidence. But the simple fact that he pretty much solved the mystery before the mystery even happened. So like that. So
it wasn't. I don't think it was completely intentional though. Like he was kind of going off of a hunch though. That's what I'm saying. Like
it was a hunch. It was a hunch. But at the end of the movie, he was right all along.
Yeah, well, he also could have been wrong all along.
I mean, his hunch came from because of like he had encounters with all of them. He was the one cussing out Frankie about not going through the procedures. He killed her brother, and he already dealt with Cleo.
His whole initial pitch to his chief or whoever that was, his whole initial pitch was, this person looks like the person's brother the person's sister that we just killed. So I'm thinking because that looks like her, and this woman on this side just lost her job from a bank robbery that she was involved with, which he was wrong about. I think that these are the people. Like, so he was half right, yeah, because he identified Jada, but he was still wrong about Frankie the entire time. The whole reason why she lost her job. They were wrong. She had nothing to do with it. So
just like he was wrong, just like he was wrong when they killed Jada's little brother.
Oh, you know? Right.
And to me, that was the whole reason why he let her go on the bus. It was guilt.
Oh no, for sure.
We fucked up. We killed your brother.
And we killed all three of your friends.
Yeah,
right. And killed all your friends. Right.
We just killed all your friends. So it wasn't necessarily like, oh, that's a free pass. It was more guilt. You know,
they were technically wrong about Cleo when it came down to kill Luther because she technically didn't kill Luther.
You know what I'm saying? Like she was just,
and that's something that was never brought up either. Upset when they killed Frankie.
Oh,
he was like pissed.
Real quick. I just want to go back. I just want to go back real quick. And what I was saying with my problem with the bank robbery was, I feel like there could have been some in between step. Like, let's not forget that while working for Luther, they were cleaning rich people's houses and shit. They could have been hitting rich people, some of their old clients or some junk. Like, it could have been something before banks. That's what I'm saying. Like, just to go from where they were to just, yeah, we finna rob banks. Frankie and Cleo was the only one where I feel like it made sense because Cleo was gonna be for whatever, and then Frankie had her problem with the banks anyway.
Well, you got to think about why he chose them.
TT could have got her money from wherever. She said the only reason why she really started struggling is because Luther started taking taxes out of the check. Because before that, everything was all good.
But then but because of that, she couldn't afford the babysitter. She bought the babysitter. She bought the baby, got poisoned, and the baby got taken all together. So at that point, she at first. That's why, and that's why I say that the stakes rose because that first bank robbery, even for TT, was just all about the babysitter. But then once her kid got taken, now it became about now I need to get my son back.
Exactly. Now it was so that's what I'm saying. Like that initial for them to get to the banks, I don't feel like it was 100% necessary.
But that's why. But you think about it, TT backed out. Remember, she took off even when.
But she was there though. That's what I'm saying. She was there. It's four of them, and actually all four of them agreed. Okay, yeah, we finna do this. Yeah, TT.
But Jada Pinkett was always reluctant to do it. Like she never actually wanted to do it. But then she would let her feelings about her brother kind of get in the way. Vivica Fox and Cleo was always on. They're like, man, fuck these banks, fuck, whatever. Like, they don't give a damn. And I'm sorry, you need me to cuss you out? Or you turned around?
No,
okay. And then, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I mean, for me, like, I think they did a good job of allowing the reason for going in the first place and then going back. I think they gradually built it, and I thought that it worked out. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't necessarily feel like, oh, I mean, I wouldn't rob a bank for revenge, but at the same time, like, you're not a black woman who lived in the hood who was just shitted on by a white man. You know what I'm saying? Or what? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know what that reaction looks like. We don't know any bank robbery you ever heard of. You don't know why somebody took it that deep. Why is it? I can't think of one reason why I would actually want to rob a bank, you know what I'm saying, unless it was just at an ultimate desperate situation. But to rob a bank, meaning like you're willing to die, you're willing to, go to jail.
Exactly. You're willing to run those risks.
Successfully, right, go through this, you know what I'm saying? So,
are you trying to represent the female voice here?
I'm trying to represent the black voice, which you're not doing, okay? Because you
hold on. That's another thing. She could have Jada Pinkett. She could have set up Nate. He had money.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. There were steps that could have been taken.
Wait, who was Nate?
That's
the dude Jada was fucking.
His name was Keith, man.
That dude's name was Nate, bro. Oh no, you're talking about Blair Underwood. I'm talking about the old dude.
Oh, okay, right. I'm talking about Blair Underwood.
Yeah, he had his business or whatever. They could have robbed him. They could have flipped it to where they robbed Luther because he obviously. Her
brother wasn't dead when she did that. When she got the money from him. Yeah, like that. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. After the fact, once they realized that they was gonna do something, that's somebody that could have been on her hit list because I needed the money for something positive, and this is what you making me do to get it. She could have had some kind of resentment. She would have had more resentment for him than she would have had for a bank. Frankie was screwed over by the bank. What I'm basically saying is Frankie is the only one who really had a reason to really go after the bank.
But
it wasn't just the bank; it was the system they was going after. That's what I'm saying because it's all tied into the system, and what they were saying is that we need money. If we go hit Nate's car lot or whatever, like that's us like hurting this little individual black person, whatever. We ain't trying to do that. We want to go fuck over the white man who was already fucking over us. It was that the bank was in representation of us getting back at the system for our different reasons. Now different people do need money for whatever certain situations at the same time, but the bigger picture is we all have a problem with what has happened. My kid has been taken. Cleo, like I said, she's just kind of a goon, but I got fucked over and got fired by these white people. These white cops killed my brother. So now everybody has this vendetta, and so the bank is that common denominator where they all come together and like, even with everybody feeling different ways about it, we're gonna attack this, and and this is how we're gonna get our get back. Especially, and then once they got the money from it, they're like, yo. This is a lick. You know what I'm saying? Like you get all that money from you get a little thirsty for more.
Don't forget that first one they only had 3 stacks.
My question was never answered.
A piece.
How did Luther find the money?
That was bull too.
I got you. I'm asking you.
Whatever you about to say, Kiwi, you about to say some bull. You about to say some bull because that part was some bull.
I'm gonna answer your question, and then I'm gonna get back to your point. You gotta think about it.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know which one he pointed at.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm on my bad. I'm looking at my.
On my screen, he pointed at 2 nobodies.
So Luther found the money. You gotta think about it. You gotta think about deeper than what they showed you. Luther is the owner of this business, meaning he's been cleaning this building longer than these women have that they've been employed. So
that's why they hit it in a vent.
Him finding the money was kind of like a no-brainer, especially the fact
what do you mean a no-brainer?
It was in a vent that they had to unscrew.
But listen.
Okay,
he literally had to drill in the wall.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Money. Oh my God.
No. Let me finish. It's a vent. It's a ventilation. Ventilation still has to be clean too. But let me finish. If Luther is a janitor, meaning he ain't making no millions off of this, so he was still broke too. So if all of a sudden Luther has quit, then what did that tell you? This nigga done found the money because they was keeping the money at their job.
No, we get that.
I'm talking about him finding the money.
Right. This is what I'm saying. So number one, it's definitely left up to your assumption, which movies do. Not saying that I agree with it or disagree with it, but movies leave certain things up to your assumption. This is why I say that. Number one, he was always subtly around. So like it's safe to say that he definitely got hip to what they were doing. You feel what I'm saying? Because they're doing these different things, and even with Cleo, she buying new whatever like that. So he's in their world. So he could have easily started keeping game, overhearing conversations they may have been having, whatever. He could have even noticed them put it in the vent. You know, so he could have heard that conversation. We keep the money or whatever like that. My whole thing is, do they specifically state that? That could have been in a deleted scene somewhere that they took out for whatever reason. But at the end of the day, huh?
I said that's something they should have left in of it.
No, it's not because that. It's not like it's the only thing that happened when it came down to Luther stealing the money is okay. We need to rob another bank, but it wasn't like him finding it out required some mathematical genius. Like if I'm not mistaken, explain to me. Did the movie Inception explain how the whole start of the dream thing became, or this is just a world that they created?
No, it explains that.
But no. I'm talking about, did it explain like how this whole thing became a thing is what I'm asking. Like how the whole process was created from birth.
Yeah, the military created.
Yeah.
So
this is what I'm saying. Guess what? But this is what I'm saying. And I missed it. No, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I missed it. I said correct me if I'm wrong because I didn't know. I missed it. But that still didn't stop me from believing that this was a thing. Even if it had not explained it. Because what I'm saying is, like, when it comes down to movies, bro, like,
you have to suspend your disbelief.
They're going to hang on to what's important to drive the story forward, and what's more important is the fact that he took it, not so much how did he know it was an event. It wasn't
honestly, they were planning robberies at work.
At work, that's what I'm saying. So it's safe to assume that he could have easily overheard it. It's not like if he had to break it to some like mathematical safe and it requires some type of genius, then I get that. But it's an event that anybody can pull off. You overhear conversations. When I
was watching the movie, it almost seemed like they weren't hiding it from him. Like it almost seemed like he was even part of, not like part of the plan.
Like he was never around. All he said was get to work and he walked the hell off.
But he was always there, though.
He was always around.
He was working as well, though.
It's not like a great mystery to me, honestly. And I almost guarantee they filmed that and cut it out. Like they edited it out.
Right.
Like what Rudy said, that it's a deleted scene somewhere.
No.
Because according to the story, it was more important to know that he took the money than it was to know how did he know it was an event. It's an event. Like my nigga, you could have found that in an event. It's an event, bro.
Hold on.
They were like, oh, we need the story to continue. Oh, Luther found all the money that they just found.
All of it. And they never found it again.
They split it up the day, or what seemed like the day before or whatever, but they split it up before, and then they gonna put it all in one spot. That makes no sense. That's what I'm saying. The movie was bullshit.
Because the police was on their ass and they were trying to hide the money. They started being more and more found out. The police she came in and said, "Yo, they own our ass. They own like so." When they had to hire the money because I think Jay, if I'm not mistaken,
that was after. What you talking about is after. That was after they killed. That was after they killed Luther.
After she killed Luther, right? Yeah. But I'm saying, I don't remember, and I'm wrong about that, but in the sense of whatever their plan was, because if I'm not mistaken, Jada Pinkett had her separately. And then I don't know, but I was under the impression that they were like, yo, let's hide our money here. And because she was always on her own thing with the Blair Underwood situation.
You can only see what the storyteller is showing you.
And honestly, but I'm saying, but if your whole point of not liking the movie is not knowing how Luther found the money in the vent, then you're just not gonna like this movie altogether because you're worried about Luther finding money. finding $3,000 in a vent, and that detoured your whole.
No. That was the big lick. That was the big lick. They had.
It wasn't the biggest lick because they had to go back and get more. That first bit they had, they were trying to get out of town with that, but that still wasn't an insurmountable. That wasn't the biggest amount. It wasn't.
They had 75 apiece. What you talking about?
The second time.
That was that. They had 75,000 apiece.
No, when they hit the money, they only had 3,000 individually because at first.
No, that was the first.
No, this is 300,000.
That was the second. That lick, the money that they hit was from the second lick when they had 75,000 apiece.
$300,000.
They had 20 and got 3 apiece.
Right.
So they got 20.
And they said they didn't have enough to get out of town. But what I'm saying is,
Chloe spent all that whole thing.
Because they said they're like, we're gonna go back to Luther. We're gonna work for like 3 or 4 days, and then we're gonna leave.
Bam.
Right, but what I'm saying is, but them hiding cash in a trash bag in an event at a place like Lonnie said, where you're always talking about your plan of robberies or whatever, it's not that hard for that man to find. It wasn't like
right. That part to me was not. They always insinuated that he was there some time. He would only pop in every once in a while. But even when Cleo stopped showing up to work or whoever stopped showing up to work, they're like, yo, you need to come back in, treat everything normal. Luther was always in the picture of paying attention to patterns, whatever. So it's safe to say that he just eventually caught on and robbed him. And he's like a sleazy piece of shit. He's like a criminal anyway.
Look it once again, you guys. What's the point of showing? The point of we learn this in filmmaking. The point of filmmaking: show, don't tell. If we didn't see it, then how are we supposed to believe it?
But what are you talking about?
If you're
trying to tell me that you don't believe that he took the money just because they didn't show him taking it.
Obviously, I believe it because in the next.
Okay, so then what are you talking about, dear? What are you talking about? You saw it.
I'm saying. There was no setup and there was no payoff.
The point that you're arguing was not that relevant in the movie. You're trying to base this whole movie based off of
that was pretty relevant. Him finding the money.
How he found it. Him finding the money is the relevant part, that's why it was in the movie.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
How he found it was not the relevant part, which is why they didn't show it. There was no reason for showing that Luther was some Inspector Gadget spy who know how to.
For sure.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's because when it came down to the important part is he stole the money, he got killed, and this is now moving the story along. How we find it? It's not that big of a deal.
Gray for a second, okay? I'm gonna do it. This is me. I'm Luther. This is me. Oh, and then here's another scene with me with a screwdriver.
You don't need that. You don't need that.
Done.
All you need is a moment of maybe
and
him.
And then F. Gary Gray. Now I'm F. Gary Gray in the editing room. Okay, here's my impression of F. Gary Gray in the editing room.
We don't need it.
Cut it out.
We needed to scene with him to overhear or see them put it in there because it's a setup and it's a payoff.
DA, you already don't like black movies. You're trying to nitpick about stuff. You don't like black movies.
Now hold on. Let me advocate for this.
We've never seen Lil Jonah Hill, Lil Sonny. We never seen him touch the vagina. But guess what? He said he did it, and we believed it. We never seen how it got to them. We never seen. We didn't see it, but he said it, and we believed it.
I bet you they set it up. Because they set it up with him making out with the girl, taking her home.
But her pants never came off, and his hands never been in her pants.
On the money in the vent is about as much as I can do.
Hey, listen.
This is DA's fault. Nigga, you don't like black movies, and I'm sick of it.
To that point, Luther never even said, or we never had any other evidence that he had the money.
Yes,
all they found was one little roll.
No.
No. He bought the chain.
Said, where's my money? When Luther put the gun, he said, "It's my money now."
That's my money. Yeah, but that was nothing but a little roll. We talking about they had $75,000 a piece. He spent all of that money in that one day.
The jury was the proof.
Spend $300,000 in one day, but
The man is thinking.
What I would imagine is he hid it somewhere else. But that was also poor writing.
Thank you, Jay.
That's what I'm saying.
Jay,
That was my point. The writing on that was poor. There was a few situations where the writing fell.
It was poor writing.
Like, if you're so pressed for money, why are you ripping up a check because you're not gonna put it towards what you got it for?
And then they kill Luther and no longer look
because
why did she rip it up when she found out that he didn't get the money?
She just allowed this man to have his way with her for a check that she was going to give to her.
It's what the check represented. It's what the check represented. What she had to do for the check, she already hated herself for it. And then on top of that, her brother lied about going to college.
Exactly.
So she just like so. In our perception, of course, we're thinking about like that's how much money it was. But like for her,
we don't know how much money it was. It was never discussed.
I never said how much it was. But what I'm saying is that for whatever reason that you felt like she should have kept it, the check, like in the cinema moment that they had, the check was representation of something. It wasn't about the dollar amount on there. So her ripping up the check was because of how she felt about that whole situation. You feel what I'm saying? Yep. And that's just what happens in movies sometimes, guys.
I understand.
At the end of the day, you gotta remember that a movie is fake. Whether it's Inception, mid-90s, or Set It Off. You got know what I'm saying? No, I'm saying in the sense of like a scene like that when they're ripping up, because people will do. I've seen stuff all the time. Like, why did they do that shit? But symbolically, it makes sense. But it's like, what the fuck was that? That was stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because logically, you'll be like, I would never do that as a human. But that character would do that, in representation.
I totally understood her looking up the check, but I did disagree with it. Like, it was very.
I agree with it too, but that's what I'm saying. It's all about the story that they're telling. It's not about what we would do in that situation. It's all about that character and what story they're telling.
I'm keeping the damn money, goddamn.
I never.
He even said at the beginning, "Oh, you be struggling to keep or pay the bills around here, da da da. So don't worry about the college stuff, da 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 da. But now you got this money, and it's not going towards what you thought it was going to go towards. Now, because you and your feelings about what you did, now it's just completely going away.
But you've never been a woman who laid up underneath an old sweaty man and got done for money. You don't know how to feel.
I have. You don't know my heart, bro. You don't know my heart.
Kiwi, make your point. That we're gonna wrap it up with our game.
I want to get back to you, Jay, when you kept saying, why did they, do other stuff for the money? The reason why they didn't do none of that is because the bank was the most obvious choice. The fact that Vivica A. Fox worked for a bank, the fact that she worked for a bank, she knows the system. So that's really the obvious choice.
I get that.
She knows the system. Okay?
I get that.
Okay.
If you are going through something.
Let me finish. Number two, the bank has the most money. So you're never going to run out.
You got a point there.
The bank also has the most risk. Look at that. What was it? The second one? What was the first one?
But if you gonna rob somebody at gunpoint, you might as well go big. Why rob the local liquor store when you can just hit a bank?
Especially you gotta rob the liquor store.
Especially when you convinced that these dumbass niggas pulled it off. We're smarter than them. And Frankie worked at the bank. We should be able to pull this off.
Why can't you go rob a bank when you didn't work for a bank for the last 2 years and you know their system?
Listen, I get it. What I'm saying is to go from non-criminals, aside from Cleo, to go from non-criminals to now robbing banks with no middle ground, just because you have whatever your motivation is. And like I said, I give Frankie her props, or at least recognition for knowing the bank and being screwed over by the bank, so she has a reason to go after the bank. Cleo is down for whatever she's going to go after. I understand all that. But for them to just be like, okay, we're going to go from doing nothing to now we're going to run up in this bank and get them for whatever we can, that doesn't make sense.
They didn't come from nothing. They all had drastic situations that happened in between the beginning of the movie and the bank robbery, except for Cleo. She was the only person who was just about that life.
The whole reason why the bank robbery conversation started was because these dumbass niggas then successfully robbed a bank. So if you're smart just a little bit, then you figure, well, why the fuck I can't do it?
Wait, did you say they successfully robbed the bank? It was 3 of them walked in there and only one walked out. That is not a success, bro.
It was successful for him.
For
I think like
the whole thing.
I think 2 niggas died and 2 niggas lived. I think because I know 2 fat niggas got shot.
It was just the one that. Well, I don't remember. I thought it was 3 of them that walked in, but only one of them walked out.
Well, he still succeeded. That's all you need.
Yeah, he got the money.
Dumbass nigga succeeded.
Died. That's not success.
Niggas got killed.
He didn't die.
He did die in the whole shootout after they killed his brother.
Yeah,
that was after. That was the shootout with the same shootout.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know if he died. I just think he may have went to jail or something.
Died.
No.
They never showed the shootout.
They never showed him
dying.
They covered him up. What you talking about?
I didn't see him die. I just know they maxed him because of the whole haircut shit. But outside of that, I mean, that proves he's a dumbass nigga. Because without that haircut and the obviously ski mask, he would have pulled it off. He would have been out scot free. But he just, I mean, he was extra. Okay, anyway, let's move on.
Wait.
No, it don't matter. It's over. We've been here too long.
I don't have a point.
You've been here too long.
I'll say that. Jay started off on the side of liking this movie, and I started convincing him, and now he's on the side of that this movie is not as
No. I was very clear. I like the movie. But it has some weak points for me.
It's okay, Jay. It's okay to admit it. It's all right. All right, go ahead.
So DA, so your whole point of not liking the movie is because they didn't show how Luther
all I said was,
hey, you know what? I don't care why he doesn't like it anymore. We're done. Okay, we're done. All right, I already get it. You don't like it. We got it. You don't like it. You don't like it. You don't like it. We've been talking about this too long. We got to move on. All right, here we go. Let's do our 3 movies, box office and budgets. We'll start with we're doing the same order that we discussed them. Inception. Give me your numbers. What do you think the budget was for Inception?
$150 million.
Oh shit!
Here, I didn't hear nothing. Nobody just said.
Okay, I'm saying $150 million.
150 from Lonnie.
I'm saying 50.
50 from DA.
I say about 80, 90. Between 80 and 90 million.
85 million for Jay.
149 million and 37 cents.
All right, 149 million 37 cents for Kiwi. Didn't help you at all because it was 160 million. So you went the wrong way. And then what do you think it made in the box office?
Double.
Triple.
I don't know how to double that 34 cents or whatever you just whatever you put on there.
I'm gonna say it made like $750 million worldwide.
750.
I'm gonna go with like 300.
300 mil.
I was gonna say 3.
300 mil.
About 350.
350. Line is on the roll. It was actually 833.6 million.
Wow.
Christopher Nolan.
In the box office. All right, moving right along to mid-90s. What do you think the budget was for mid-90s?
$5 million.
Go ahead and give you 5 million? Okay.
10 million.
I'm gonna say 4.
Gotcha. Now I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna see if you guys want to change your answers or not. This was an independent film.
Okay. 1.
Oh, so then like
500,000.
Yeah, $1 million.
No. I'm saying because it did have a distribution like as far as in the theaters or whatever. But I'm saying in reference to like funding or whatever. To my knowledge, it was self-funded. The studios didn't fund it. So that's what I meant by independent. Like I'm not trying to say it was $3, but I'm just saying why y'all was reaching in the tens and stuff. You know.
I'm just gonna Google the shit because you saying here.
Well, that's not the point of the game. That defeats.
So I'm gonna say $750,000.
750,000. Okay. Anybody else changing?
I would probably say exactly 1 million.
Exactly 1 million.
I'm gonna say 250.
250,000.
Yeah.
And what'd you say, DA?
So I was saying 1 million, but I'll go 800. No, I'll go 900.
Gotcha. That your budget was 1.7 million.
Wow.
1.7 million.
That's crazy.
And what do you think it made in the box office?
At least $100.
7.
7 million, 100 million.
I'm gonna say 4 million.
4 million.
5 million.
5 million. It actually made 9.303 million. So it's like 303,000 something.
Yeah, that's close.
So basically 9.3 million. And then set it off. What do you think the budget was to set it off?
10 million.
10 million?
12.
12
dollars.
What year did it come out?
Huh?
What year did it come out?
Like 96, something like that.
It came out in 96. I say 10.
I said 10. Fuck you.
Okay. You don't own 10, bitch.
Oh yeah? What's this? What's that?
What you got, DA?
I said 50, but I'm gonna change it to 40.
40, what, million, thousand? What are you saying?
Oh, wait, they crashed through a bank.
You saying 40 million
Yeah.
for the budget?
Bro said they crashed through a bank like that cost $1 billion.
I don't know, bro. That was a lot of plate glass right there. I don't know.
Well, the actual budget was $9 million. $9 million. And then, what do you think it made in the box office?
45.
Black.
What'd you say, Lonnie?
Black people.
45.
45 mil?
50.
50 mil?
Let's go with 90 million. I'm going strictly off of just casting.
90 mil? DA?
Shit.
DA waiting for you to guess.
Right.
I'm gonna go with who? Did anyone say 80 or 60?
No.
All right, I'm gonna go with 60.
60. All right, the actual box office was 41.6 million.
Don't fuck with the Jew, guys. I'm telling you.
Lonnie had all the numbers on deck.
Don't even try it.
Dope, man.
I believe Lonnie has already looked these stuff up.
I'm telling you.
I don't care enough. I wouldn't do that.
You know how this game go. He's like, I'm going to look him up early and just change a couple figures.
Like I said, once again, shout out to Jonah Hill, Christopher Nolan, F. Gary Gray. Shout out to your movies. All of them were successful in the box office. So that's great. They all made their money back and then some. And all the people who starred in it. Jay, man, appreciate you for pulling up on us, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It was my pleasure.
You know, you're the homie, so you got the open door, man. Anytime you want to come back or you want to suggest a movie that you think we should own or, or praise or whatever.
I just want to say, I've been wanting to do this since you started, but I could have swore you were starting, like you were filming at 3, which is the time that I get off of work on Saturdays. So that's why
it's two my time and 5 y'all time always. That's not gonna say always, but it's been like that for a while at least.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be back. Ain't no pressure.
For sure, man. Well, go ahead and plug, whatever you got, man. Instagram, websites, shows, skits.
No.
Lonnie, you got kids, man?
This nigga got lined computer paper.
You got kids, Lonnie?
This is legal pad paper, motherfucker. Get your facts right.
Stop stealing your kids' school supplies, man.
I don't have kids. No.
He was there on a composition book.
Right.
Follow me on Instagram, Jay Does Comedy, Jay Does Comedy. All one word. Find me on Instagram. I already said that. Find me on Facebook, Jay McCoord. Skits and shits will be uploaded soon. Working on some other shit with other people. Hopefully, I just got word that I may be getting a room soon somewhere in Sunset. I don't know. I ain't gonna fuck that. I ain't got enough.
Sunset, or you mean South Miami?
Sunset, yeah.
Well, Sunset is the name of a mall. That's not a neighborhood.
Oh no, somewhere by Sunset. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Sunset. Sunset is also a city in like Broward.
No, I'm not going to Sunset.
Well, so it's called South Miami. You should know the name of the city that your room is in.
Near Sunset
Place Mall.
Well, you knew what I was talking about before you got all technical, bitch.
Right, because I'm intelligent. but I don't know if other people are going to be so lucky.
These two aren't even in Miami, so they wouldn't know Sunset.
These three.
It really didn't even matter.
Right.
Yeah, Sunset, somewhere near Sunset Place. I might have a room popping up soon. But yeah. So ignore that because I don't know.
It'll be on J Does Comedy whenever he figures out the details and
the name of the city.
And the name of the city, right?
Orlando, Florida.
Oh, man. Well, for me, man, RudyComedy.com. That's the most important thing. Mr. Lonnie Cox, what you got, bro?
You can follow me here, Cox Comedy. Cox Comedy. I'm getting back on stage. I got back on stage last week for the first time, so I'll be out and around. But I'm going to start with one.
It was really good.
One a week for now. So
dope. Liddy.
And also, me and Jay are working on some skits and some stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to film some of that and get it out pretty soon.
Are you guys filming in Sunset?
No, I think we're going to do it in South Miami.
Sunrise.
Over there.
What's that,
was stand-up with a live audience?
Yeah, but 6 people.
Right.
Live audience, right.
Gotcha.
So 2 less than what I'm normally working with.
Right. All right, Kiwi, it's on you.
Follow me on Instagram at @AYeeWi. That's AYEE_KIWI. That's it.
Dope. Fruit Basket, a.k.a. Fruit Basket. As Jay like to call you. DA, go ahead.
Follow me D_A_Henry. Just stay tuned for all the little promotions I'm putting out for the Redlands, I guess.
Sweet. And shout out to my homeboy, man. This nigga making candles himself and selling them out of Miami, man. I don't even buy candles, but I'm supporting niggas out here. So anybody got black business, man, send it my way, man. I'm supporting black business, man. Fuck these white folks. Ain't that right, Lonnie?
Yeah, for real. Seriously.
I appreciate y'all for watching, man. Kiwi, appreciate you pulling up again. Lonnie, DA, great job as always. Jay, once again, appreciate you, bro. And this is it, man. Dumbass Film Students. We post this every single Thursday. No Life Boys production page. That's it, man. We out.
Set it off sucked.